Looking at that boy, huh? Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom to the worldwide family. Another peaceful Sabbath as we get about our Abba's business.
That's right.
Y'all know how we do it. We turn toward Holy Jerusalem, where our help cometh from. All praises to the Most High.
All praise. All right, family. We're going to get this opening song. And it is with the Most High's permission. And it's in the name of his only begotten and beloved Son, our Lord and Savior and our Redeemer, Yahushua HaMashiach. But we know him as Jesus the Christ. Long live the King.
Long live the King.
Reading in the book of Psalms, in the 61st chapter, it reads, Hear my cry, O Yah, attend unto my prayer. From the end of the earth will I cry unto thee. When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I.
Yes, sir.
For thou hast been a shelter for me, and a strong tower from the enemy.
Yes, sir.
I will abide in thy tabernacle forever. I will trust in the covert of thy wings.
Yes, sir.
Selah.
Selah.
For thou, O Yahweh, hast heard my vows. Thou hast given me the heritage of those that fear thy name.
Yes, sir.
Thou wilt prolong the king's life, and his years as many generations. He shall abide before Yah forever. O prepare mercy and truth, which may preserve him. So will I sing praise unto thy name forever,
Yes, sir.
that I may daily perform my vows.
Hallelujah! Selah!
What's up, Mary? You smile like you done hit pick 3 midday. They just walked through the door. That good prayer they had you like that on there.
Yes, sir.
All praises.
Once again, y'all, all praises to the family.
Hallelujah.
As we get about our Abba business today, y'all, what we try to do often is what's called just a complete session of question and answer. And this one, today's lesson is New Year's Question and Answers 101. And why we're bringing it or presenting it from that perspective, because we hear the new year, it's the new year, it's the new year, it's the new year. It's a new year for feast days.
Yes.
But we still have to account for another yearly clock
That's right.
that the sun controls. We can't leave that out. So we'll hit, because the first question was the Passover day, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the 15th day. What does it really mean? Because the 14th day keeps showing up. And also, Skinny Black had the same question. Skinny Black and his wife, Sister Crystal, had the same question. They were trying to figure it out, but what happened? Huh?
When does it start?
So we're gonna get right to it.
Okay.
I'm gonna get right to the next one. Hebrews 4:16. Come boldly to the throne. The question was asked, how do you do that? We'll get at that, and then so far we have the righteous Enoch, because there's questions out there. Should we read or study from the book of Enoch? Same questions we get about the book of Jasher, but we're gonna get it clear today on what's the measuring stick to allow a book in, or how you delete one.
That's right.
So far those are the 3 that we have, the topics that we can get into. We'll take a few more. If there's full classes, then we'll punch you to that class. But like the Passover, we're not gonna go over all of that language today. We're gonna go over the question at hand, and that's the part that causes trouble concerning the day. So, anybody got anything else out there too, before we get started?
So far, so good. No more questions yet.
Okay. So once again, y'all, we're doing performing the Passover on Tuesday, as we know it on the Gregorian calendar, Tuesday the 4th, April the 4th, at evening, I want y'all to understand what I'm saying, at evening, we'll be performing a feast of unleavened bread at sundown. So that's going to get explained, and it may be caused a little confusion with, should we do it on April the 4th or should we do it on April the 5th? Well, because it's our doctor appointment, let us make this clear again. This ministry, any other ministry associated with this, and the radio station, y'all, we have to be on the same day. We can't be ready to move into something else and somebody saying, well, I did it on this day and I got one more day of unleavened bread to go. See, if you've been on this doctor appointment list, if our primary physician is told us to be at appointment on this day, then as collectively, as an assembly, y'all, we have to do things on the same day so it's not confusing to other members.
Right.
You can't have people of this fold saying the 4th and then somebody else say, I heard it the 5th. Now we got questions this close to the doctor's appointment. The doctor's appointment is how many days away? 3 days, ain't it? 72 hours.
Yes, sir.
Y'all, we got to do better than that. If the doctor told you you need to get to see me, you ain't gonna miss that date. If you do, you be trying to get scheduled immediately, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
So y'all, we're not saying any harm, any fault. What we're saying is practice makes perfect. Once you get your days down, the Gregorian calendar versus the lunar calendar or what goes off the moon phases, know the difference between the two. You'll be on point exactly. And then you'll be able to represent yourself as Colossians 2:16, let no man judge you. So Elijah, if you will, or whoever got it first, go ahead and run that at Colossians 2:16 real quick, and then we'll get into Leviticus 23 and explain this 14th day, and we'll explain about both calendars.
It says, let no man judge you.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of judging going on in Israel.
Right, because if you let a man judge you, he tell you it's supposed to be like that, and you don't ask questions behind it, then that doubt creeps in.
Right.
You have to be fully persuaded, like the second question on here, come boldly to the throne. You can't come shaking in your boots.
No. I think I'm supposed to be here.
But boy, look here, you're talking about the Almighty.
You can't enter into His rest with one disbelief.
Leviticus 23. Yeah. Yeah, you can't come in with that how you have believing. You can't even ask a misk in prayer.
No.
And that was another one about amen, wasn't it, too, by?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we get that one too. And all the many fallacies out there that once you don't know the rules of the Bible, it's going to create some problems for you.
Colossians 1.
Y'all, this is called, these classes we teach or call the gospel of the Messiah.
That's right.
They ain't got nothing else concerned. They're different topics, but it's the same thing. It's the good news of the Messiah. And it started in the Garden of Eden. Genesis 3:16 and Genesis 3:17. After the fall, the good news message went forth.
To all creatures.
To all creatures. Everybody talked about it at that point. Enoch talked about it. Noah talked about it. The fix was coming. The good news, the gospel was going to happen. It crossed over the flood, and Shem talked about it to Abraham. Abraham talked about it to Isaac, Jacob.
Christ talked about it.
Yes,
to
sir.
Adam.
So he let us know about the gospel, the good news, y'all, because look, what else is there to do? You try to build your own kingdom, you still got to take the nation holder down. What you think you're going to do with you got half your members in there with doctored up food stamp cards and the other one that borrowed money from their family members lying to them, and you finna build a kingdom that's going to take control of nuclear warheads.
Right. Crazy talk.
Y'all, we on the brink of destruction of planet Earth the way these wars and rumors of wars is going. And it's a possibility they could launch because the Messiah said, unless the days were shortened, there should be no flesh saved.
That's right. For the elect's sake.
Boy, for the elect's sake, the days may have to be shortened, y'all. It may have to hit quick.
And don't be distracted by this Donald Trump thing because it's about to be a war.
What he
Sure
do now?
is.
Russia and China
What he do
and the
now?
United States.
Yeah, what they indicted him.
Oh, did they?
So he got to
Yeah.
take a photo now. You got to put handcuffs on.
No, they say
He ain't
gonna
going
cuff
to
him.
no handcuffs.
They
I
gonna
doubt
cuff
that.
him.
Cuff him.
They
I
better
doubt
cuff
that.
him.
They ain't gonna give him
Watch.
the nigga treatment.
They
No,
better
they ain't
cuff
gonna
him.
do
They
it.
may have him put his hands down, but they gonna cuff him. If they do that booking photo, they supposed
I
to
don't
cuff
think
him.
so.
Them pictures that
I
Jay
don't
was
think
showing
so.
on the
I
show.
don't think so on that one.
They supposed to cuff this scoundrel.
They should.
That's gonna be white collar.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to the book of Colossians,
Yes, sir.
chapter 2. We're going to start the reading in verse 16.
Uh-huh.
And it reads, Let no man therefore judge you in meat,
Uh-huh.
or in drink,
Uh-huh.
or in respect of an holy day,
Right?
or of the new moon, or of the Sabbath day,
Uh-huh.
which are a shadow of things to come. But the body is of Hamashiach.
So that's clear cut. If you understand first what the body of Hamashiach is, it means he's Shalom. Big man. So he is letting you know he is all of the feast days. He's the Sabbath. He's all of it. He says, you know, I'm Lord of the Sabbath.
Hit that verse 9 and then explain that.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, bro. Verse 9.
9 and 10.
Verse 9. For in him dwelleth all the fullness of the Godhead bodily.
Uh-huh.
And ye are complete in him, which is the head of all principality and power.
See, he said the Godhead bodily, Genesis 1:26, when it say let us, that's called Elohim.
That's right.
That's a plural Godhead. Christ is not saying he's God equal to the Almighty.
No.
He says he's a part of the Godhead.
Right.
And a true representation.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
So it's a body, y'all, like the church is a body. Then you move up to a spiritual body called the Godhead. There's still rank and file, just like in 1 Corinthians 12:29, there's still rank and file. First apostles, then prophets, then teachers. So exactly when you move up the ranks into the spiritual level, it's still ranking, but it's called the Godhead or Elohim, and Elohim is always in plural. It means multiple, but with in order, like the Father head of Christ.
Right.
And
Christ
agreeing
is the
in
man.
one. And agree.
And they agree in one. Nothing should be off. When somebody hear you talk, they should say, "Oh, you speaking the gospel of Messiah,
That's right.
born of a virgin." We hear your doctrine, and we have to be sharp enough as soon as we hear certain things to know what doctrine or what somebody's chasing. You got to know who you're. There's modern Pharisees and Sadducees.
Right. But you know what, Daniel? I don't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead, bro.
but You said something that was profound, and I hadn't tripped off of it before.
Uh-huh.
But none of these camps and those guys talk about the order of Melchizedek.
They won't. They won't. It destroys the whole foundation. That's how you know it's a Pharisee.
Right.
Because they have to have chief priests and high priests.
Right.
See, and if you put Christ there and then the writing say only one high priest, then we got a conflict in there. Let's just don't mention the order of Melchizedek then.
Right. But if they're under the order of Aaron, who's doing the sacrifice?
Well, they're not even under the order of Aaron, because when it changed with John the Baptist, the disciples of Messiah, while they were still under Aaron, say John disciples, he got different disciples. They teach. He say, is they with us or they against us? He said, well, they talking the gospel. He said, well, let them alone. We got no problem with that. John is training all of his disciples to transition from Aaron to Melchizedek.
Right, right.
He said, I shall do what? Decrease.
Yeah.
And he shall do what?
Increase, yeah.
Melchizedek is increased over the schoolmaster of Aaron.
Right.
But a Pharisee and a Sadducee and a Herodian, these are religious Israelites. Hebrew Christianity.
Who believe in
That's
theology.
in theology and doctrines of men. That's what those groups are. It has no, they don't even sit in Moses' seat. Because Moses told them, if you had believed in Moses, you would believe in me.
Right.
The Messiah said, because he spoke of me.
That's right.
Now, is that the truth or is it a lie? And the Pharisees had to stand back. But you messing up money, Messiah. We got
Right.
these people fooled.
Wow.
Get the place round over there. Get the place round over there.
On the ass.
Yes, sir. So where we at now, y'all?
You want to go to
Leviticus 23rd chapter. And y'all, we're going to get this day straight. And we're going to get some understanding, because there's only one other feast day that tails of a day then jump back a day, and it causes a bit of confusion. But the deal is, you got people. Shalom, bro. Okay, you got brothers, you know, I heard different ones that teach it's the lunar calendar only. So we work off both the sun and the moon, because the Messiah said there's 12 hours in the day,
Right.
and there's 12 hours in the night. If you're not counting the 12 hours of the day, you're going to be short every month. There's only 28 days according to the lunar calendar, ain't it?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
360 days a year.
Right.
We got a problem with missing time from the sun to go 364.5 days. How do you account for those other days for the sun? And if you leave that out, then you're going to mess up the Sabbath, and somebody will be able to judge you on Sabbath days. That's why I had an S on the end, because like after the Passover, it say you must treat the next day as a Sabbath day. It's not the Sabbath, weekly
Right.
Sabbath, but as a Sabbath day. You
Don't
have
talk
to
about
rest.
work.
Exactly.
Rest after coming off the Passover, y'all preparing and having a good time drinking. Boy, who want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning getting ready for work?
I can't wait.
Boy, look here, right. Right, you be dreaming you at work,
If my,
nailing in your sleep.
if my
hitting on
phone ring,
something.
I'm gonna throw it out the window.
Right. So that's why you have to look at the next day as a Sabbath. He wants you to rest like that, but that's not the weekly Sabbath. It's still coming on.
Right.
You just get two in that week, so to speak, because of a feast day. But let's get Leviticus 23, and we'll start right
I was waiting on you.
at 1, because 2 Colossians men don't judge you on Sabbath either.
All right, family. We're going to be reading in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, and we'll start the reading in verse 1. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of the Lord.
So now this is concerning the feast. And what's going to be named must be looked at as a feast day. The things that are about to be named. Go ahead, bro.
Which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocation.
Uh-huh.
Even these are my feasts.
Uh-huh.
6 days shall work be done.
Uh-huh.
But the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest.
Right.
And holy convocation.
What is it?
It's an holy convocation.
Uh-huh.
Ye shall do no work therein.
Uh-huh.
It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings.
In all your what?
In all your dwellings.
So right here we see every Sabbath day is a feast day. That's why we start off, y'all, peaceful and feastful Sabbath day
That's
today.
right.
Let's eat good, but should man live by bread alone or by what?
The word of God.
That's what we're talking about, y'all. So this is a good feast today. You eat spiritually
That's right.
down here. So that's why a lot of times you don't get a hunger to after the class is over, because the spirit is feeding your soul. And the soul is not thirsty. No matter how much physical food you eat, if your soul is not being satisfied, it still leaves hungry.
Right.
You like, yeah, he preached good, but it's like when your parents come home, you're like, boy, that man sure did preach today. What he preach about? You know, I don't know.
Right.
See, because it was just on the flesh surface. Him hooping and hollering, his well man handling his business. The choir hitting on point. That was all to get the emotions of the flesh going. But when you ask him what was the subject matter, I don't know.
But I felt it in my
I
soul.
felt it in my soul. What did you feel? Was it law, statutes, and judgment? Wasn't nothing like that. You know, it was just a good
It
feel.
made me feel good.
A baby bottled up with colic and then rip one, that's a good feeling, ain't it?
I'm sure.
You like that baby finna go to sleep now. And I can get some sleep. Go ahead, read some more, bro.
Verse 4.
Yeah.
These are the feast of the Most High,
Uh-huh.
even holy convocation, which ye shall proclaim in their season.
When should you proclaim them?
Them in their season.
See, so we have seasons that these feast days go about.
Right.
We have the beginning of spring, or what we call when life begins for all plant life or different things. You know, we have to be careful that we don't say this is life for everything, because then every animal would have to be born in the spring. every other thing would have to be born in the spring if you're saying it's new.
Right.
Like that. So we keep everything defined where it's supposed to be. It says seasons. This is for the season. And Noah said in Genesis 9, the seasons will never change forever. We're going to always have summer, winter, fall, and spring. That's what he said. Because of the flood, the seasons would not change. The only thing happened was the world just got flooded. But it don't change summer, winter, fall, and spring. Go ahead. What else to say, bro?
Verse 5.
Yeah.
In the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover.
So it said in the 14th day of the month, of the first month.
Right?
At even is the Lord's Passover. So the 14th day at evening. So if you have 12 hours of the day and you have 12 hours of the night, what we have to figure out, when does day start? Does day start at night or does it start in the morning? That would be the issue. Now, based on the Passover, if you couldn't leave a man on the cross or like that all night, then day can't start in the beginning of sunrise.
Right.
Because to get another day, he has to go through the night then. And you can't leave him hanging up there. So that's why day starts at night. Any crimes, anything you have on you, you should get rid of all of that before nightfall. Because you're going into another day. You're carrying your sins into another day. And now you're heading to what we call the night hours. And the fourth watch is coming where Satan likes to play. It's called the fourth watch of the night, but they call it, some people call it the devil's watch. Shalom, Raphael. Some people call it the devil's watch. Because always when you get woke up in the middle of the night, it's always around past 2:45 to 3 a.m. You get woke up, the phone will ring, ain't nobody on the other end. The alarm clock will go off and it ain't been set for that. How the TV pop on? That's to get you out of that dream or that drama Satan may be bringing to you. But he always comes around that time. I want y'all to understand this. There's an hour of prayer when we're awake, and there's an hour of prayer when we sleep. From 2 p.m. to 2:59 p.m. if we're looking at the day starting at 6 a.m. That's called the 9th hour. That's the best time to pray. It's called the evening prayer. We have to understand that we have a morning prayer. That's at like 6 a.m. when you wake up. Thank you, Almighty, for giving breath in my body. Today wasn't promised to me. I made it through the night.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you have another one at 12 noon, right? And then you have another one at the evening, morning, noon, and night. That's like David prayed 3 times. Daniel prayed 3 times. Daniel 6, 3 times a day. I turned toward the holy Jerusalem and prayed 3 times. So when nightfall comes, there's an hour of prayer at night. 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. is the fourth watch of the night. That's where spiritual activity take place. On the day hours, it's just physical. Knowing how to deal with your adversaries or your boss or your neighbors acting rudely. On the physical side, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. is the hour of prayer. You go in your closet. You can pray any time of the day. But there's 3 times a day you must get one-on-one with the Father. And then at night, it's similar things. The prayer going in before you lay down. We used to do it, our parents taught the Lord lay me down to sleep. You know, how else it go?
Lay me
down to sleep.
I pray the Lord my soul
to keep. Yeah, what you ask for him to keep?
Your soul.
Not your flesh.
Right.
See, so y'all, it's without excuse that we don't know these things because it's always been in nursery rhymes and different things. Because everything comes from the Bible.
Right. The Proverbs say train up a child.
Train up a child. So we just have to know what we're training them up in so that the law don't seem like a strange thing.
Right.
It comes back to you later, like, oh, that's what that was about. But at evening, so the 14th day of the month.
Let me read this right quick.
Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 5.
Yeah.
And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day.
Yes, sir. So when you're looking at it whole like that, that's telling you once we get to the kingdom, there will be no separation of days because day runs forever. So the first 3 days, it was just evening, what was it, morning and evening?
Evening and morning.
So the sun and the moon weren't created to the fourth day. So there was only a different set of light for the first 3 days. The sun and the moon and the stars came into play as plan B in case Adam them sinned. But it was set up the first 3 days. We see it is that it was like paradise. It was either light or morning and evening. That means only the daylight hours. Morning and evening is only the daylight hours, but they come second. Do that make sense? Night comes first. It's 12 hours. From 6 p.m. to 12 midnight to 6 a.m. are the night hours. This nation does the same thing. It just starts night 6 hours later. What's the day, y'all? The first? Mm-hmm. When would the clock click and make it the second?
At 12 o'clock.
12:01. That's still at night, ain't it? It's just called midnight. They just wait a little bit, but it's still the same night. They just 6 hours later than what we're talking about from how we should judge from the Gregorian calendar.
Anything to cause confusion.
Yeah, absolutely. So, y'all, we have to make sure that we're on point with both of the sun and the moon. The sun was given to us as a greater light.
Right.
Like in Genesis 1, light overpowered darkness. So the sun is going to overpower darkness all the time, or the moon, because the moon don't light up unless it get its lights from the sun. It has 0 lights. When you study the book of Enoch, chapters 72 through 80, it gets into how the moon gets all of its light from the sun. And when you get through with it, it's going to say both these lights work together in unison to come up to 364.5 days per year. Shalom. So y'all understand what we're saying? So it brings it up to that point of where you can say, okay, both of them have to work together, because one, if you just go off the moon and you discount the sun, well, you discount what's feeding the moon.
Right.
You have to bring it back into play. And if you can't account for it or just push it out of the way, shame on you. Then you're going to have mass confusion in Israel. The Sabbath day will be changing every week.
I mean, they do the same thing with Christ.
Yeah, absolutely, bro.
But you also see, I just want to add, you also see that there's a midnight prayer that Paul and Silas
Yes, sir.
did,
Yes, sir.
as well as if you look in Psalms 116, verse 62, it talks about a midnight prayer. So you do have those three times a day of prayer, which also associates itself with the crucifixion of Christ.
That's right. He asked the disciples, didn't he say they was heavy with sleep? Boy, that Negro disease was working them over.
That's right.
He like, can y'all stay with me but 1 hour? They like, we trying to. Woo! The spirit is willing, but that good fish and broiled honey cakes you made in.
Golly,
He
man,
like, well, y'all okay. Then finally he just said, y'all go ahead, just sleep on.
Go to sleep. 'Cause boy, y'all heavy.
They're heavy with sleep, boy. You know, you ever see me talking to somebody and they be struggling with their eyelids trying to stay woke?
Man, how you get through the
I mean, they just struggling, and you just have to cut it off at that point. They're not retaining anything at that point. It's like you watching a movie and you nod off on this point, and when you wake up, you're like, damn, I missed it again. And you rewind it back to that point, and you nod out again, and then you wake up and I done missed it again.
You just turn it off.
Just turn it off and go to bed.
I just did that last night. I kept waking up, rewind it back.
Rewind it.
Man, I said, man, forget it. I'm going to shut it down and wait.
Boy, it took me 5 times to see who won the NCAA on the women's side. Was it did the LSU win?
You could have just watched the news.
I could have.
You could have just watched the news.
But went back, rewinded it back again, and she went hard to the hoop, and then I rewind, and she went hard to the hoop. And I said, hell, I'll see it in the morning. Like Zeb saying.
It's several movies I've never seen all the way through because I always fall asleep on.
So y'all, let's get this understanding of the moon cycle.
New Year's questions and answers.
Yeah, New Year's question and answers concerning feast days.
101.
So y'all, we want to clear. We in Leviticus right now, sister 23 and 5. So we're talking about the 14th day of the month. So now the moon is set for all our feast days. The sun sets our weekly Sabbath. So that's what we have to keep in mind. The weekly Sabbath will never change. Ever change. It's always been consistent. The sun don't change its course. It never went up or down. It does what it's supposed to do continually. The sun, go ahead, bro.
So when I had this app called The World's Last Chance,
Uh-huh.
I had it on lunar solar because you could flip it back and forth between the lunar solar and the Gregorian. So on the lunar solar, the Shabbat day was the same
Every day? Yes,
but
sir.
when you was changing to the Gregorian, the Sabbath day would change every week.
No, opposite.
Yeah,
So it's the
Flip it
opposite.
around, it's opposite.
Okay.
See,
So I
Gregorian
don't
calendar,
anymore.
like the Gregorian calendar, if we had one in here, you'll see the moon symbols on it.
Okay.
So it lets you know, like it may be the 15th on the Gregorian, but it may be the 4th day of the moon cycle. They'll have it on there. We never knew what they was for. We used to look at the calendar and say, what's them little moon symbols for? Is this a Lucky Charms calendar? Did we get this out the cereal box? You know, because that's all you, but you didn't know what it meant. So everything, that's why the Most High say, I'm right near to you. They can't operate unless they use my program. They have to plagiarize mine like the inventor of the wheel. You get a patent for a year, after that, everybody else coming up with a wheel.
right.
22s, 36s, they're making a bigger or a smaller wheel, right? But the original is still the wheel. So the Most High, this is still the original program. Everything else follows after that. Like we were created by the Most High. Everything after us is procreation. So we're procreated of Adam. You understand? So when we get to the moon cycle of the 14th day of the month, okay, on the Gregorian calendar, the 14th day of the month is Tuesday, April the 4th. But on the solar calendar, it's Tuesday or the what you would consider the 14th day of the month, based off of how the moon is shaped in the sky. So we got classes out there. Y'all go to this. If you hold up your left thumb and you see how your thumbnail is shaped like this, it's the curve. When you look up in the sky, is on this end. You're on the other side of the 15th day of the month. Am I right about that? That's right. Yeah. If you hold up your right thumb and the curve of the moon, that crescent moon is on this side, you're on the beginning of the month, from the first day to the 14th day. And then the 15th day is a full moon. And then it crescents down and you hold your thumb. This in case you get lost on an island, desert island, ain't got no calendar, everything gone, you barely made it out of the water. So you don't lose count of where you at in the world. You can just mark it down. You just do this. You like, I know the crash happened in January. So every time I do this, I know what side of the moon I'm on. I can mark days and I can tell when the seasons are finna come in. And then the sun is steady coming up, but I can tell what part of the month I'm in. So I can even keep up with when my birthday is at that point. All I do is do this, I'm on this side, and you're marking. See, if all of this paperwork could go away, if the Bibles go away, it still have to be up here because the sun and the moon won't allow it to go away. That's why he said at the second coming, I'm going to knock all of what the Most High considers artificial light. The stars, the sun, and the moon will end their lighting. And then the light of the world going to come. Light going to overpower darkness again because everything going to go dark. Then we back into Genesis 1 and 1, 1 and 2, where Christ is the light. He overpowers the world because the sun and the moon knocked out. Is that making sense, everybody? Mm-hmm. So, if you're looking at the calendar right now and you're on the Gregorian calendar, today is the what?
The first.
The first. First day. Ain't surely his name. But you see, when you get in this script, you forget about them days.
Exactly.
So, but on the solar calendar, because today should be about the 11th on the solar calendar. So, Shalom, Margaret. So when you look up in the sky, you should be able to see it almost full. It's almost full. So so we get a clear understanding. The 14th day at evening. Evening is the last end of a day. It's from 12 noon to 6 p.m. On the 14th day of that day, it's going to still be the same day that tabernacles fall on, because they're only separated by the street lights. The 14th day at evening, remember Christ gave up the ghost. The 14th day at evening, on the 9th hour, the hour of prayer, Christ gave up the ghost. It said that was evening. That's when you kill the sacrifice. Okay, now, if you got to get them off the cross before sundown because you can't take them into a new day, that's telling you that day starts at night. So they got them off the cross at twilight time. Like how we used to have to come in when the street lights come on, that's twilight. That's to let you know the day is finna change.
Right.
So they got them down, and then that lets you know right there that when sundown hit, we're into the 15th day. So technically, all I'm saying is Tuesday, April the 4th, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. is the 14th day of the month at evening. When the sun goes down a half hour later, we're into the 15th day. We're still going to be on Tuesday, April the 4th, until midnight on the Gregorian calendar.
Right.
But on the lunar calendar, the day changes from 14 to 15 at sundown. It's only 2 feast days separated by 3 hours. Passover here, and then this is right here. I hate to use this example, but I have to. It's like Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. You get all your presents wrapped. You know, this is what I hear folks used to do. You get all your presents wrapped up on Christmas Eve. All the cooking, you know, everything get cleaned up in the meal. You can't eat the meal that day, right? The next day, Christmas Day, is the feast day. That's when everybody eat, whatever's passed off. And then the next day, if you're off from work, you rest that next day. But it's the same way with the Passover. All of the food is prepared from 12 noon to right before the street lights come on. You have to be finished with your Passover preparation, because when the sun sets, the moon is going to be full. We're into the 15th day on the lunar calendar. But it's still the 4th on the Gregorian calendar. It won't change until the 5th, until midnight in this land. I know what I said probably confused you even more. But y'all, if you're going to get on this, you're going to have to understand there's 2 calendars, one controlled by the sun and one controlled by the moon. The sun controls the dailies, first day through the 7th day. The moon controls the seasons when feasts are to take place. Did that make it simpler? The sun controls every day of the year. And that's how you tell when you change when you get older.
But we got it.
If you are 11 months,
I did get confused.
30 days and 59 minutes, and you're 26 or you 27 at 11 months, 30 days or 31 days, whichever one, and 59 minutes, you have to wait one more minute before you can say, I'm 27 now. So that sun controls that, and it controls the Sabbath. Like Christ say, I'm the Lord of the Sabbath. So the sun mimics Christ. Y'all understand what we said? The moon is the lesser light. It's every other entity that needs Christ's light to operate. Like what Elijah just read in Colossians 9 and 10, them verses 9 and 10 is what I'm speaking of. Every other entity needs the light of Christ to exist. Every angel, everything created, because it said all things were created by him and for him, by the Almighty's plan. This was already set up, y'all, way before Adam and Eve were thought about, way before the war in heaven. It was laid out. That's what made Lucifer flip out. So with that, y'all, I hope that got some understanding. Now look, the only other day that we're going to have this 2-day feast is the Day of Atonement. If you will, just hit that real quick while we're in there. And then we'll ask some questions, see if anybody got what we were just teaching. The 10th day of the month.
It's,
That 24?
no, it's 24 is the 7th.
Huh?
27.
27? Okay, right. Okay, yeah, 27.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 23, and verse 27.
See, 24 is the blowing of trumpets. Those are called, because we're seasonal, those are now called our fall feasts of that season. We got trumpets. We got, going into our fall feast, we got Day of Atonement, and we got Tabernacle.
Right.
Those are our fall feasts. And then we have winter feasts, Dedication, and Purim. Making sense, y'all? And then we have our spring feast, Passover, unleavened bread, and then we have our summer feast, Pentecost. Y'all understand? So we have our feast in our seasons. It makes sense, y'all? Am I making some sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Too bad they saying I'm making some sense. I got to check, bro.
You asking people that know though.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Question on that shit.
Okay.
So far, so good.
Okay, so let's get that 27. Go ahead.
Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 27.
Uh-huh.
Also on the 10th day of this 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement.
Uh-huh.
It shall be in holy convocation unto you.
Right.
And ye shall afflict your soul,
Uh-huh.
and offer an offering made by fire unto the Most High.
Uh-huh.
And ye shall do no work in that same day.
Right.
For it is a day of atonement,
Uh-huh.
to make an atonement for you before the Most High your Elohim.
Right.
For whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in that same day, he shall be cut off from among his people.
So we see that, I want you to read down to 32, but we see that afflicting your soul, not your flesh.
Right.
Lent affects your flesh. That's a man-made doctrine by the Catholics that they do Lent. They say, let go of what you like the most. That's flesh talk. Can you let go of them chocolate chip cookies? They say just 30 days, or how many, 40 days, and you put something up here. But look, guess what you get to go back to? You get to go back to eating them cookies. What
Right.
them cookies killing you?
Right, right.
So y'all, they just allow you to come off it to go back on it.
And how is not eating cookies afflicting your soul?
That's what we're talking about. Their program is afflicting the flesh. See, it's not the soul. If you watch TV, you can't watch it for 30 days. But it's still just your flesh. It's a lust doctrine. It's not a soul doctrine like the Day of Atonement. Everything we read in Day of Atonement is about your soul, what controls your flesh. So that's the feast day we want to do, the one that rids your soul, what controls the flesh. You don't want the flesh controlling your soul. Because then you let what's dying kill what has to live forever. It has to be the other way around.
Yes, sir.
Your soul has to make your flesh live longer. Because he say if you do right, your days will be extended, didn't it? If you do wrong, what happened to your days?
Cut short.
So y'all, it's a clear program that we're not to worship the flesh. We're not to even think about what's dying already. If I leave this sandwich up here and say I'm gonna leave it right there, it should be good when I come in here tomorrow.
Okay.
The bread gonna be
Bread
hard.
Look
gonna be
here,
hard.
and then I'm gonna be looking for the
It might
toaster.
be hard now.
Where the where the toast
Air
at?
didn't hit it.
Y'all, and this is what we're talking about, because if I put it in the freezer and I leave it there in a month, when I open the freezer where everything smokes, and I do like this, something in here spoil. How does frozen spoil? Because it's flesh.
Rotten
And the Most High said all flesh gonna die. You can put it in the freezer if you want to. It's still gonna stink when it die, and it's gonna give off a smell. I'm stinking, but I'm frozen.
Right.
Let's get some more.
The book of Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 30.
Yeah.
And whatsoever soul it be that doeth any work in that same day, the same soul will I destroy from among his people.
Uh-huh.
Ye shall do no manner of work, It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings.
Now here come the tongue twister. Go ahead.
It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest.
So that's why he's saying the Day of Atonement got to be like a Sabbath of rest. It's not the Sabbath day, but you have to look at the Day of Atonement like how you would do on a Sabbath day. Go ahead.
And ye shall afflict your soul in the 9th day of the month at even. From even unto even shall ye celebrate your Sabbath.
Now, the 27th verse, it started off on the 10th day. How did we get back into the 9th day on the same feast day?
And then it say even unto even.
Right.
See, so what happens is evening to evening won't change a day. Evening to evening just means, just say, right now, the feast right here was, just say the 10th day was tomorrow, the feast, the Day of Atonement. Just say the 10th day was tomorrow. Okay, so today, right now, we're in the evening part of the 9th day. And the evening part of the 9th day is where we get our bodies prepared to go into the 10th day. It have to be like a rest. We can't do anything to exhaust ourselves because we're going to get hungry in the 10th day. If you work yourself, if you work construction and you come home on the end of the 9th day, you're tired, you're sweating in secret places. You gonna need water, ain't you?
Yes, sir.
And you gonna need some water in the future.
Boy, look here, you gonna need boy, look here. So
Well, that part is not against the Day of Atonement.
So right. So, but look, you can't be doing it after a hard days of work because you're going to go into the Day of Atonement famished and you ain't gonna last.
Right.
You're not going to last because that's why at evening on the 14th day you start winding down, eating a little broth. I'm only gonna eat a salad. You can't do like we used to do, Elijah. Everybody, boy,
Fill up.
would get, boy, send me 2 Big Mama to go pizzas over here. I want a keg of beer, a quarter keg or whatever. How fast y'all think? Y'all think we can get finished by sundown? Y'all, we were loading up on drink. And we had to learn that on the Feast of Unleavened Bread too.
Yeah.
Yo, we was stuffing so much bread in us, boy, we was leavened for 2 weeks after the Passover. That's why it says you should start preparing on the 14th day of the month is the Passover, getting your body ready for unleavened bread. You can't stuff yourself because something is coming in. You know what I'm saying? You're saying, I'm going to fill up on this.
Yeah.
Let me get all this leavening.
Let me get all the leavening I can. Well, you're defeating the purpose.
Right, because you're full of leaven.
Right, you're full of leavening. Eating them crackers ain't doing nothing
You
at
ain't
that
just full of
point.
leavening either.
Right. And look, the Day of Unleavened Bread, once you start on the 14th day at evening for the atonement or Passover, what it does is it kind of gets you prepared for the meal. You get in sync for the feast day. It don't allow you to eat full that day, so when the meal comes, you enjoy the meal. You're not too hungry because you're getting yourself together. If you're eating while you cooking and getting ready, you ain't gonna eat at the Passover, are you?
You're already full.
You're already full. So in like mind, the Day of Atonement, you start winding down about 3 p.m., eating a little soup, eating a little salad, just sipping water, not guzzling it to hold you over for 24 hours. You just sipping water.
You ain't got no faith if you doing
Boy,
that
look
anyway.
here.
Right.
Oh, I gotta fill up.
Your belly this
'cause I ain't
full
gonna be able to
right
have
here.
none.
Right, look, and I ain't
No,
gonna pee.
no.
I ain't going to the bathroom either.
You ain't gonna pee?
Right, yeah.
That's
Then
the problem.
you wake up, look, you look like, wife wake you up, you doing like this. She like, what's wrong with you? I'm swimming. She say, you the best in the bed. Get out. So don't stuff yourself, all I'm saying.
No.
So I hope that got some understanding about jump back to the day before. Unleavened bread is on the 15th day of the month. It's Tuesday at sundown. But if we jump back to the 9th day of the evening, that's when we get everything prepared. Get the hall prepared. Get everything prepared.
Boy, you
When
said the
sundown
hall.
hit.
I thought you said the hog. I'm like,
No. H-A-L-L.
Yeah.
He turned his head this way so you didn't catch that L.
So we get everything prepared. Because look, y'all, and everybody that may say, well, they doing it on this day. You know what the problem is, y'all? All of them are forecasts.
Right.
The forecast for us came in on the 4th. Not only that, but Shalom, Master. Y'all send a message? Okay.
Yeah, Tupac.
Okay. So
You need something else, Tupac?
Yeah, it's a case of water down there.
Okay.
So Shmanu, Yah out of Ohio, keeps us on point. Every month, every season, he sent me a text. The moon first sliver has been sighted in Jerusalem. So that means I don't look for that sliver for 8 hours, because Jerusalem is 8 hours ahead of us. We can't do our feast days off of Jerusalem time, because we're going to be 8 hours behind them. That means we'll be doing our feast days at midnight, ones that's supposed to be in the day, or the ones that's supposed to be at night, we'll be doing them during the daylight hours. We have to wait till the sun get to us. Every day consists of 24 hours, but the sun will not come back up again until the sun has reached every space on planet Earth in 24 hours. So it'll never change days in Jerusalem before we get that same day. We just 8 hours later. That's when we start to prepare our days, because that's when we get the first sliver. If we went by them, our days are going to be off. We're going to keep being ahead and we won't be able to keep up. So Shmanu get the message from that. He let us know, and then we start to prep, and then we go out there and we look for the forecast based on the sighting we just got. It fell on the 14th, so ourselves, the radio station, we lock in, and we locked in December, y'all. This is what you have to understand. We got to get a haul in January. We can't wait till the last minute, be sitting like this. Yeah, them niggas going to be wrong down there. Wait and see, because I'm watching right now. Y'all just sitting at home doing nothing.
So can
we finna host an assembly. So stuff have to be prepared.
So
Go
we
ahead.
we can't call and change it to
No, we can't. Boy, look here. We got a security deposit that owed us.
No doubt.
They don't buy us 2 days. They don't buy us no options.
Right. All of it's forecasting though. Nobody can just say, I seen it pinpoint this the exact time y'all do. That's why we went over Colossians 2:16. Right. You got to be able to prove that. We can prove why we're doing it on that day. We're not concerned what nobody else do. You need to ask them when they say this, prove how you doing that so I don't judge you on the wrong day. And a lot of times they don't know. They're reading, just went out there to the website and said what day to Passover on. You'll find 10 that say the 4th, and you'll find 15 that say the 5th. Which one do I choose? We have to choose the one that we chose in December, so that we can get our haul together, we can get all our paperwork together, we can get everything needed to pull off an assembly feast. Y'all, we ain't at home. We can't just have lambs on deck. Bring me another Elisha.
Where am I gonna get it from?
Yeah. But see, at
You'll come up
home,
with something.
when everybody know what's going on, everything is already stored. We can't do that here. And the process, like I say, Christ is our lamb, so we would have to go through all of the process as well of making sure the lamb you got is unblemished.
That's right.
And then we read earlier, let no man judge you in a feast day.
Yes, sir. So y'all
And no
hope
man
that,
should judge another man's house.
right, and look,
So
he
y'all need to stop all
can
that.
if you allow it. That's why I said let no man judge you. If you allow it, shame on you.
Yeah.
Not on him. Shame on you, because you don't know when your doctor's appointment is. It's like somebody coming and tell you, hey, you were supposed to be at the doctor yesterday. That's when my doctor appointment. Who want to do that? At that point you have to reschedule. And how far can rescheduling be?
Whole 3 months, depending on where you're going.
Because you miss your day. If you miss the Passover, Numbers 9 tell us there's one makeup day. One. We don't make up. If you don't make April 4th, you have to make May 4th. There ain't no June 4th. There ain't no July the 4th. Right. There ain't no August 4th. One makeup month. If you miss. Because if you go another month, now you're into another season. You're getting into a spring feast, and you're moving it up to the summertime. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So that's why you have to do it 1 month. You're still going to be in springtime.
Because then you're doing what Satan do, think to change the times
and laws. But he's not, because we have our instructions, y'all. This is what we have to do. No matter how we teach this word, no matter what we do, whatever we tell them. If somebody say, how do I perform God's word? You have to go to that and say, he says perform it like this. If you don't do that, what's going to happen is they're going to take your word for it. And they'll do it like you're saying, and then they're going to be confused. You're taking the God's word. Everything in God's word is self-explanatory. Because you have to study to show what approved? Thyself. So it's self-explanatory.
But see, that's the thing about it. You got to show yourself approved unto Yah.
Unto Yah.
Not unto man.
Not unto man.
You understand?
Because Yah know the heart of man. He know if it's wicked, and he know if it's righteous. If it's righteous, it's going to quote the law. If it's wicked, it's going to talk around the law. It's going to talk to make you think it know the laws, but it don't. Because as soon as you say prove that, and we got to do what? Prove what?
All things.
Not some things.
All things.
Not the things I feel like.
All things.
Let's get some more of this, y'all. Did that clear that up on the 14th day? Passover and Feast of Unleavened Bread, y'all. The moon should be full at sundown on Tuesday. Y'all, the latest we're going to be is 12 hours, but we're going to be inside that day. And look, this is why the sun has to control the Sabbath day, not the moon. In the winter months, in Alaska, Nova Scotia, and a couple other places, there's 23 hours of night. But there will never be 24 hours or they can't count 365 days a year.
Right.
If the sun stayed up. So they may say, well, the sun doesn't go down for a whole day. If you Google right now, countries that the sun stays up, it'll tell you Nova Scotia, a couple other places, Alaska. But now look, in the summer months, the sun stays up for 22 hours a day. They play softball at 3 o'clock in the morning in Alaska. Because what happens is when it gets down to where you see the horizon, the sun goes down, but guess what happens? It comes right back up. It still count that day though, because the sun set, it just came right back up.
And my partner live in Denali. He sent me pictures of that happening.
Yeah, all the servicemen talk about that. Anybody that was in the armed services, whenever they were stationed in Alaska, they'll tell you about we were outside playing softball at 3 a.m. in the morning. Now see, if a club was opening in Alaska, you'd be in good shape trying to beat the sun on. I ain't staying all night, heifer. The sun's still up. I ain't been nowhere all night. Yes, sir. Yes, you have.
And she'll be able to say the same thing.
Right. Let's get it, y'all. Did that clear that up? So we're going to move on to the next one.
That question asked last Sunday in the radio show, so I didn't see him in the chat today.
Okay, well, it's good because, like I say, Skinny Black and his wife, Sister Crystal, I spoke to them on the same thing of how to count. All y'all have to understand is what we got, our Gregorian calendar, the same Monday through Sunday. Sunday through Saturday. That weekly calendar is the Gregorian calendar. The lunar calendar, when you hear that word lunar or solar, only deals with the feast of the season. You cannot make it a Sabbath day because your Sabbath is going to change every week. This week it'll be Tuesday. The next week it'll be Thursday. And guess what? You can only get 7 times 4 is what?
28.
7 times 5 is what?
35.
You cannot, there's no such count of 35 times 12 will equal way past 364.5, won't it?
Yes.
So you can't get 5 days 5 Sabbaths on the lunar calendar. You can only get 4. 28 days. So that means when the Feast of Pentecost comes, you're going to be short. You're going to end up on 36 days. Or if you add another week, it's going to be 54 days. And Pentecost must be on the 50th day. 7 complete Sabbaths and 1 day, which is always going to land on us, what we call a Sunday, the first day of the week. You cannot bring lunar Sabbath in as the weekly Sabbath. It's just for feast days. You must treat this day after that like a Sabbath day. That's why when it started off, it had S, Sabbaths. Didn't have an S, the S plural.
I saw it.
Sabbaths, not the Sabbath. The next question, Hebrews 4:16. Who got that?
If you listen to a bunch of different people's doubt.
Y'all, and what happens though, y'all, is when somebody asks what is the feast day, and we write today, and it's 2 days away, y'all, that's a problem within itself. Especially if somebody call you and act like you messed up. Hey man, you know they saying Passover is this day, you know, and you be asking, well, what the hell is you just now calling me for 2 days away? Mm-hmm. Shit, if you know it, why you just not calling me?
Right.
You just found out too. So now both of y'all don't know. And then you got your ticket already and you call, man, is this supposed to be this day? What your ticket say?
Right.
I'm telling y'all. People had to I say, what do you read your ticket right now? Tuesday, such and such. But they saying, I say, I tell you what, go to theirs.
With that ticket.
With that ticket. Yes, sir. So Hebrews, y'all, 4:16.
Oh, no.
Y'all, but understand this. This is not anything to make anybody feel bad when we're talking about that. We want you just to understand the importance of the gospel. See, once it changes into, I ain't got to do it in the land, or how we know we doing it on the right day. See, all of that takes you further and further away from getting yourself prepared for what's going to be done in the kingdom.
It sounds like doubt to me.
Yeah, that's all it is. You know, and you doubt out instead of saying, I done messed up, I done let that slip up on me,
Right.
and I wasn't ready. Right. So you bail out and don't understand these feast days, y'all. These are required days for you to talk to the Most High. If you ain't talked to him all year, you mean to tell me you can't talk to me a couple times in a month?
And it's a holy convocation.
And it's a holy convocation.
Which is a
You need to be
rehearsal.
talking to him daily.
So y'all,
For his mercies and shined upon you to wake your black butt up.
absolutely, y'all. But so, and look, it's without excuse because this is class. At class, there's question and answer. You ask a question, we provide an answer. Y'all understand? So the answers we provide are from the Bible. So somebody asked about the ninth day at evening. We had to go to the instruction manual to find the ninth day at evening and explain what the instruction manual says, so that if somebody asks you, then you flip to the instruction manual. Y'all, it's just like your car manual. When you look in the index and you say ignition fuse, the car won't start. First thing it says, go to page 285. It say pull the ignition fuse and see if it's blow. If it blow, they say replace it and try starting the car again. Zoom, it start up. I just had a blown fuse. But I can't look in a Toyota's manual and I'm driving a Ford.
Right.
The fuse is going to be lined up different. I'm going to pull the wrong fuse. It's July. It's 112 in the shade, and I done pulled the air conditioning fuse.
Well, it ain't running nowhere.
Right here, forgot. Yeah, right. And forgot where I pulled it from. You know, forgot where I pulled it from. But you have to have the right manual, y'all, is all we're saying. Lunar Sabbath, a lot of that is Freemasonry slicking up because they go off of the moon calendar. They worship Venus in its sun because Venus is the illuminated planet that illuminates 800 times Earth. So everything is Venus, and then they use the Venus symbol, which is that Prince symbol. You know they have on his guitar. Yeah. That's the symbol for Venus. When you see that, that lets you know that they worship Lucifer in his angelic form. Venus is supposed to be the twin sister of Earth. That's where they yin and yang come in. They say Satan is equal with Christ. No, he ain't. Satan must bow to Christ. But they'll use that Venus as a symbol, and then they'll say, well, look how much brighter Venus is than the earth, so Satan is much brighter than Christ. Yeah. But all y'all have to do is look up Freemasonry connection with Venus. And you're going to see everything they do is always on the full moon. They have sexual rituals on the full moon. Howling like the wolf man, as long as it's a full moon.
Is that what that noise be?
Yeah, you should hear them ain't cats. Yes. So y'all, our instruction manual, this is our instruction manual, but pretty soon, y'all, we got to get our, shalom, Elder Judah, we got to get our instruction manuals in here. where you can know what the problem is.
That's right.
Okay, it won't start like this. It just hit like this, and I know I just got that battery. That's the alternator in. You start to understand, and you have to understand your body like that. But you have to go to the doctor, and he'll tell you about your body. This is how you were made.
Yeah.
This is going to keep you at top-notch performance. If you do this, this going to have you running rough. Like you done put regular in a car that can only take premium. Let's get some more, y'all. Let's get to that Hebrews 4:16. Do we need to back it up any?
You actually need to start at once and get the whole understanding of what 16 is actually about.
Okay.
Brother after my own heart.
Let's get it. Yeah. Should have knew that. What you got, bro?
So this is more on top brought up earlier. So if you're invited to another man's house, and you know during the era of celebrating feast days on the wrong day, because the group of people we all been doing it the wrong way. And so, cause like I'm not into the arguing. Like I just want to get to the meat of it. I want to find out the truth.
Right.
And like we just arguing, we not getting anywhere. So
Right.
how do you handle that type of situation?
Well, see, we started off with it called feast days. Feast days are joyous.
Okay.
Everywhere you see a feast day in the Bible, said they're having good time, wine is being consumed, they're loving, they're giving praise to the Most High. So we know feast day ain't arguing and contention. So write this down, y'all. Make sure we get Isaiah 58. That's the main one we got to get there. Yes, sir.
58.
Yes, sir. It deals with every feast day and how you should approach them. So if you go to a feast day and you're discussing the feast day at that day, that's a problem within itself.
Right.
So starting off, but 1 Corinthians 10, because nothing is uncommon. 1 Corinthians 10, if one of an unbeliever bid you to a feast,
You be disposed.
and you be what license?
Disposed to go.
So you look up dispose, it means I've went over it in my mind. I know they probably say something about this, or they may say something about that, but I got the answer for them. Yeah, I disposed this. I'm going to go ahead and go. But if you ain't disposed to go and you go into another man's territory and don't know what you talking about, then when they eat you alive, you got to take everything they giving to you right there. You deserve to eat what they giving you at that point because you just want to be there. See, it could be, oh, by the way, I meant to tell you too, man, you remember the girl Sally you had a crush on in the 8th grade? She's supposed to be here too, man. My sister said she coming in time. Count me in, player. You want to rekindle 8th grade. Man, you got a mistletoe hanging over your head. That ain't on Facebook, is it? It's not on Facebook. Eggnog out the corner of your mouth.
You need to go do some fasting and praying. Because if you was trying to go back to the 8th grade,
boy, look here.
come on now.
Glorying in your youth.
Come on now.
That's the last minute. I mean, a pure virgin.
What if she show up with no teeth?
Boy, I mean, now that's
And a
it.
lip.
Look, and then now you gotta leave. You gotta make an excuse. You know this. Whoo!
No teeth and 9 babies.
What car accident?
By different means.
I'm on my way.
Now your motivation
Look at
became
motivation go.
unmotivation.
So now your conscience is bearing witness against you that you just like to buddy. You just like to go hang out. You're not there to spread the word of God. And look, and this is why we're saying that, and we're not saying you can't go, because in Matthew 5th chapter, a Pharisee invited Christ to their home to see if they could trip him up. He went. He went to the Pharisees' house. The first thing he did was what he's supposed to do. He saluted the house. How are y'all doing up in here?
Yeah.
That's their house. And the first thing they asked him, they said, but it was a trick. We got a woman over here that we call her a prostitute. We're going to see what happens. The problem is, you're going to accuse him, but she's in the house, and you're going to accuse him of her who you let in the house.
Right.
See, this is that Pharisee talk. It's always got you tripped up doing the same thing that they doing.
Right.
So she wiped his feet with the hairs of her head and anointed his feet. And they say, look at it. If he'd have known what kind of woman this was, he wouldn't have let her be wiping his feet. He said, I hear you over there. Listen to these no account Negroes. He say, since I've been here, she been wiping my feet. Hospitality is that's what we talking about, because that's what Abraham do, wash the feet. But she washed it with her hair. He said, y'all ain't gave me no water for my feet. Y'all ain't gave me the brotherly
No,
kiss.
nothing. She
But
did all
y'all,
these.
yeah, y'all doing all this and y'all want me, so they opened the door for him to check them.
Right.
Because they came at him with the law. Now, if you be disposed to go to somebody that don't believe and they bring up the law, yeah, see, you know, yeah, I know you don't really eat doodle noodles, but the Bible say, chitlins I'm speaking of, the Bible say, you know, it's not what goes in the mouth. At that point, you can correct that. Because anybody that don't believe invite you, they should already know what your diet is. You ain't got to worry about that. Your parents gonna be saying, that's your pot over there.
Right.
I told don't nobody touch that pot. You know the program is working. Pretty soon, all the pots are gonna be there. They ain't gonna have to point over there. All the pots gonna be like that. If they start making one, they're gonna eventually cut them off if they want to be around the light. Because they know you're not doing this just to be, y'all doing it on the wrong day. Or y'all don't know what y'all doing. They don't clean their doodle noodles right. You know, how do you clean them right anyway?
You don't.
Okay.
And one way I learned to deal with my family and different days they be having, I don't eat the food. The doctrine they putting in, don't eat that either.
Right.
But I think
You can go and be around them and
I know
deal
what he
with them,
talking about.
but don't eat of what they own.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just don't eat of it.
is there Israelites also, but they just
Well, that's the
That's
biggest
what I'm
problem.
saying.
That's why
Don't eat
we-
of it.
Yeah, that's why
Don't
we
eat
went
of
to
their food at that time.
Matthew 5.
You know what I'm saying?
Those were Pharisees that Christ went to their house, but he was against them. He said, "Accept your righteousness, do what?
Exceed the righteousness
Of who?
Pharisees.
You have what?
The least chance.
No part in the kingdom." So that doctrine is a kingdomless doctrine. So when he went to it, went to show them why. Yeah, y'all Israelites. The Pharisees were Israelites. But he went to him, he like, look, y'all gonna treat this sister like this to get at me. And the lowest done better for me than y'all sitting here trying to trap me so y'all can continue in y'all wickedness. That's what the whole deal is, bro. They trying to trap you and make you think that you're doing something wicked, and then you come over that side.
Right.
But the gospel of Messiah, we have to make sure that wherever you go, you're armed and you're prepared
Right.
to deal with any situation, because it's not about meats, eats, and drink. That'll be your test. But if you trying to explain the Bible and you keep your nose keep going over there like this, and you like, and then I want to take you to some Hebrews, and it can't stop. You there to eat. You there to have fun. Or that 8th grade crush is in town, and they say she leaving right after the feast is over. There you drive. I know. Go ahead. Now, what you saying? What you saying, bro?
What he's really saying is they practicing Israelite, but they doing the Passover one day and then gonna do it again. They're gonna do 2 Passover.
Right.
Still the same thing. Still the same thing.
because now they're eating the Passover unworthily.
Right.
And not only that, they're using it as an occasion for strife and pointing the fingers. That's what this Isaiah 58 that
Yes,
we're
sir.
going to go to is about.
And that's why I
They
say
say you
don't
use
eat
the
the food.
Sabbath to do your own will, to go to war with, go to law with brother,
Right.
and pointing the fingers.
Yeah,
That's not what a feast day is for. That's not what the Sabbath is for. The Sabbath is for you to enjoy and extend hospitality and love to your brethren. Not to come to a feast and start discussing the feast
day.
Because if you at a feast discussing why you at the feast, then it's not in your heart to be there in the first place.
Yeah.
You're there for a mission.
Now, what am I here for?
To prove
Yeah.
or to elevate some kind of knowledge or wisdom
Yeah.
over your brethren.
Yeah.
I know this more than you do, so now we're gonna start debating about who knows more.
Right.
So, and it's not on the feast day. It ain't got nothing to do with the feast day or the love for your brethren. It's come to, I want to pick his brain and see where he at.
Right.
How
Hold on,
much you
sis,
know.
hold on. So
How much you don't know.
Right.
So I can show him I got the right day, or I got the salvation location
Right.
and you don't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what it becomes. It becomes a debate on who knows more than the other.
Right.
It has nothing to do with the truth of the matter. It's about let's debate. I want to show you how much I know
On a feast day.
on the feast day. I
Yeah.
want to show you how much I know more than you.
Look,
but
that's
you ain't
like-
doing no study. You
look,
don't study like I study.
That's like asking who made the potato salad. You ought to know. Look, when we get parents say, look, they put raisins in and they doing this. No, that ain't the potato
Raisins.
salad we usually eat. Who made the potato salad? We
White
ought to
people
know.
do that.
But like Elijah's saying though, different days. Like we have people that say such and such doing their Passover Thursday. They come to this one and then go to that one. The rules of the Passover are prepare your meal on the 14th day of the evening, and then 7 days. If they do Thursday, then you're going to end up doing 14 days of unleavened bread. And you're going to do 2 Passovers. You can't just go there, and now if you just going, bro, I just want to stop by and holler at y'all, I'm into my 3rd day, but I can't partake with anything of y'all there. Yeah. But you can't then join in and toast the cup again, and you already into this day, you're thrown off, and that means that somebody been looking at 2 different sets of instruction. That's what you have to do. You have to make sure if you started yours Tuesday and you just happen to go over there, you just like, bro, I'm headed for day 3 of my Feast of Unleavened Bread. So that part I can't do with y'all. I can't do the toasting right there because I'm already into my days. It's like Paul said in Acts 12:4. He said, I got to sail back, but y'all keep on doing it. And it said, and those were the days of unleavened bread. He couldn't sail nowhere else and do 14 more. Right. Because now you're doing too many. You're doing too much. You're treating it like just long as you get there or whoever doing it. It's like bouncing house to house.
It's a barbecue.
It's a barbecue. I'm going to go here, then I'm going to go there. They having the Passover, then I'm going to go here, then I'm going to go here. Ain't nobody following the rules. When was the bones burned? How you eating old bones?
But the bottom line is if you know it's going to be confrontational,
don't go.
Don't go.
Don't go. Like when in doubt,
do without.
Do without. What you had says.
What your shirt say too, by?
If you ain't in shalom, stay at home.
Yes, sir. What you guys said?
It said the other way, but okay.
Yeah, I know they worded it different. I
He's paraphrasing.
Go ahead. Question says you got a question.
No, I was just saying that listening to him is why I'm here, because it's the motive behind why you're there. If you're new at some things and you don't know, but you know something that's going on in the atmosphere that people are claiming to be true followers. Right. It's just like when I went from Sunday to 7-day Adventist to now where I am. I'm still learning. And
right, but you have to follow the learning process. That's what we're talking about. So everything you just said, how would you come to accomplish that? What would we have to do?
You have practice. To be seeking for the truth.
No, I'm saying, what is the truth?
What is the truth?
Yeah, of God.
His word.
And what is His word?
BIBLE, basic instructions before leaving.
And what is that?
God's word.
And what is that?
The truth.
And what is the truth?
Revelation knowledge.
And what is that? See, I'm gonna keep going till you finally say the law. See, that's what I'm saying. So everything you get when you come down here that led you here, now you're in class. So now it has to be a teaching. When you say you learn, so every question would be, how do I perform that task? Right. In speaking in tongues, there's a law for speaking in tongues. There's a law for wisdom. You're like, well, I'm an evangelist. I like to go to the homeless. Well, there's rules for the homeless. Right. You can't go to them on your own rules. So you say, I like to do that. I love to do that. What are my instructions? So we give you your instructions, and then when you hit the road, you're good with instructions versus your own idea of who you should be dealing with the homeless. You have to go by the instructions. So everything has to be a question. How do I do that? How do I do that? How do I perform that and be in God's good grace? You say, well, He know my heart. He know I wouldn't really know. He knows that you could be slothful and don't want to learn.
Right.
And just opt out and say, well, He know my heart. Then that means I can do what the hell I want. There ain't no measuring stick if He just know my heart. If the Lord knew all our hearts, we'd be getting away with everything, wouldn't we? So since that's all we're saying,
we'd be dead.
The thing that this gentleman here, every time he comes and when he asks a question, the same things that he is learning from here, I learned when he asked a question, and I just can't contain myself with
well, that's what we're talking about. We understand that, but commentary is a different thing. See, commentary don't have any instruction. Right. Commentary is an evangelist. A commentary is a preacher. It says like, like if you read this right here and you say, seeing that we have a great high priest, our high priest is dwelling up on high. You preaching to the choir now. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? So we already there because we're in a study class. So we understand that that's for street work. Right. When you're going door to door, because you're quick with it. You can't just sit down and break up. You may have to pass. So you give them that. If one say, hey, hold it. How do I show long suffering? You got to stop in the middle of your preaching and break it down. You got to go to Galatians 5 now. Now you got to go here and you got to give them an example of long suffering. You can say Moses locked up in jail for 12 years. And then when he came out, he still spread the word of God. Right. Joseph sold into slavery, y'all, and then Pharaoh called him out and he was delivered. But you're giving them the knowledge of what you're talking about. But here, sis, it can't be commentary because we already know what you're talking about. You're preaching to the choir. That's why it's questions. How does that be performed? If you feed off him, see everything he was doing, he was asking, if I go, how do I do it? So we have to take him 1 Corinthians 10. We got to take them to Amos 3, 1 through 3. How can two walk together lest they be what?
Agreed.
See, you can't go nowhere where they don't agree with you.
Right.
See, that's why you have to be careful wherever you go to spread your good cheer. You go to, I just want to bring you some food. Nigga, if you don't get off my front porch, I'm going to turn this pit bull loose. God bless you. You cannot even say that. If anybody turn down the gospel, you have to shake your dust and you cannot bid them Godspeed. You know what Godspeed means? So everybody who say, what is Godspeed, Daniel? Godspeed is to say God be with you.
Right.
Somebody just told you, you better get the hell away before I turn these pit bulls loose. God be with you. You cannot. Or you put yourself in danger with the Most High.
Because he says, then you are partakers of that same person's sin.
Yes, sir.
Right.
What you got back there?
Keep moving. Oh, that was me?
Yeah.
2 John, chapter 1 and verse 8. It says, look to yourselves that we lose not those things which we have wrought, but that we receive a full reward.
Yeah.
Whosoever transgresseth, abideth not in the doctrine of Christ, have not God. He that abideth in the doctrine of Christ have both Father and Son.
Right.
If there come any unto you, and bring not this doctrine,
right,
receive him not into your house, nor bid him Godspeed.
Right.
But he that biddeth him Godspeed is a partaker of his evil.
Y'all see that? See, that's why it's an instruction manual. Y'all, we know who, we are set apart people. We just can't be mixed up. Look, your friends could belong to any other doctrine on the planet Earth. Those are friends. They may have grew up with your childhood. We got Hebrews who grew up and parents thought they was Muslim, so their last name is Ali, but they Hebrew. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to look past that and see what they're teaching. Then they just got a last name. Hell, we got last name Tate. Yeah, that's off the Tate plantation.
That's right.
I can't use Daniel Solomon on no legal documents.
You can't cash no check.
No, can't cash nary a check. They be like, who is this? Then that button gonna be pushed.
Mr.
Pretty
Tate,
soon,
come with us.
yeah, come with us. Don't make a scene up in here. Come on now, we're asking you to go with us. Solomon.
Let's do this silently.
And I'm telling y'all, I knew it was the truth, because Jake was hemmed up. That police came back there and said, we know who you are. Jacob Jones. Durrell Yisrael. He said, I don't know who the hell that is. My government name is this. They like, yeah, he like, shit, when is bond ready? For my government name.
That's right.
Because y'all gonna hold me here on my Hebrew name till they find out, ain't they?
Right.
So y'all, we have to keep things in perspective, y'all. We American citizens, but our tribal origin is Israelites of the tribe of Benjamin. Paul did the same thing in Romans 11 chapter. And see, that keeps you from misunderstanding God is no respecter of person. He's not. But he's put a people in his place that he said, I want y'all to respect me to the rest of the world. Y'all was chosen for that. It's 12 tribes of y'all, and y'all teach the rest of the world. That's the promise I gave y'all. But if y'all do wrong, I'm going to get with y'all first. Before any Gentile y'all ever told it, I'm going to bust y'all head first. Now, if it's you and the Gentile that did a blessing, I'm going to say, come on, my son, you get the blessing, and then I crown him. That's all throughout the Bible, so you don't get misinterpreted and understanding he's no respecter of person. He's not. But what he put in charge is in charge. You understand what I'm saying? He put Christ in charge. He's in charge, not the devil.
Right.
If you let the devil be in charge, it's problems for you. You done clap hold to a thief and a robber. Right. And he's after your soul because all the best he can be is a hireling. You know why? Because he don't have a marriage certificate. It's like people out there doing polygamy. You got one marriage certificate and 4 other girlfriends. because you have to obey the laws of the land. And if you don't have a power of protection, you have no protection in this land.
I know I'm asking a lot of questions.
Yeah, that's question and answer day. Yes, sir.
You got a few more too.
Yeah.
Like I heard you talk about the law of the land. So you have some people that say they choosing to celebrate or honor Passover due to having to work.
Right. Go ahead. Give me a public law 97-280. Just Google that real quick. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Yeah, so some people are basing the days when they honor like holy days based around a work schedule. So how would you instruct somebody the right way? Because they will tell you like, well, I have to work on that day, so I celebrate it whenever I can.
No, it don't work that way.
Like,
Look, they won't. I guarantee. Ask them, would you do Christmas like that?
right.
Would you do Christmas on November the 25th?
Right.
See, because somebody gonna always question, what this for? What you got in here, a turkey? No, I'm just early. You early for what? Right. Christmas. Oh, okay, you early. You at least still have to explain it, so you can't do these days on the day you want. That's why we're saying a spring feast day cannot be done in the fall. You can't do Passover in the fall. Day of Atonement, you got Tabernacles is for that area.
These are appointed.
But even
Appointed days.
But even if you did pagan days on the wrong days, the people, the masses will consider you crazy.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with you? Today ain't that day.
You doing Christmas on the 20th?
Right.
Losing it. So how doubly crazy should we be not even following the commands of He who created us and doing the right days?
Right. So in the right days are not hard because we just went through Leviticus 23. That's Deuteronomy 16, do the same thing. So it always gives our law, statutes, and judgment twice. Two places, the same rules.
Yes.
Exactly the same. So you get there from two prophets, the word of God, and they're going to match up perfectly the same way. They will never break ranks. Go
By
ahead.
2 or more witnesses.
A good example would be, you get the calendar for all the holy days, and if you got vacation time, schedule all your days.
Like how you used to do, you take off for Christmas and Halloween, did you? No, because I got a good costume this year. I ain't going in on it.
But half these Negroes ain't got jobs, so that's why.
Right. Look here. Look, bro.
Vacation days. What it is.
Negroes ain't got no jobs. That's
So-
why it's confusion.
So y'all, that's what we're talking about. You can't substitute because you're doing something else.
Right.
Look, because it's not about meat and drinks.
Right.
You can do the Passover at work. That day must be kept holy. You if you have to say, well, I can't eat nothing unleavened here while I'm at work, because look, unleavened bread, you still got 6 more days after we do it Tuesday. That means you go back to work, you got to take that unleavened bread with you at work. You can't just hit that vending machine like you used to and just be chowing down on a hungry man hobo.
Oh, you better have a matzah or pizza or whatever.
And the worst thing is stop by a donut shop early in the morning and forgot yeast in it. See, it's a mental thing.
Right.
And what it's going to do is going to relieve your intestines of all leavening products. You're going to drop a wayside. If you couldn't tell if your shoes was tied up, after this you will be able to look right down and say, they are tied up. Because your belly going to shrink.
So you can't get no Wendy's chicken.
No, look. And then like you say, it come up on you so quick and you lose focus if you're not staying focused. And that's why we're saying hunger cannot get in the way of this. It don't say you can't eat anything. It just says you can't eat bread with leavening in it. You can eat everything else, but got up early, got late. Wendy's was right there. Was gonna get just.
We was going to the garden.
Yeah, just getting a hard taco. That's what I went in because you can eat hard tacos during the Feast of Unleavened Bread, but not the soft because it still had leavening. But they had a sign up there: get 2 of these succulent chicken sandwiches for the price of that taco you was gonna get. And these 2 big fat buttery buns that's on here, you'll enjoy those as well. So, can we interest you? And I'm like, hell yeah! Give me 2 of them.
Then he walked past me. I say, boy, this sandwich sure look good.
Look, we in day 2 of Feast of Unleavened Bread. I done chewed on it, man. I'm chewing good. But our brother, like we say, one law for a stranger, one law for Israel. The brother Sister Stranger, she looked at me, went past every Hebrew.
Yeah.
Their nostrils hit and be
Yeah.
like, shit, I
Yeah.
want to ask for a bite, but the way you chewing down, I'm scared to get my fingers bit off. So she said, Daniel. And I said, huh? She said, I say, what? She said, I said, she said, I said, Put too late.
Then he came and told me. I felt bad.
He
'cause
said, "Look here."
I sure wanted some.
Look, the boy was
in my
riding
mind,
with me.
I bit his sandwich.
The boy riding with me, Lord. Yeah, he did. So y'all, we understand that if you ain't staying focused, you could lose it right quick.
Yeah.
If you're not understanding what you do, because it's a prescription. It's like take it 5 times for 3 days. However it may be, you must take it exactly like how they say it.
Until it's all gone.
Until it's all gone. We have to do the feast days just like that till it's all gone. If somebody is talking some foolishness, just tell them, let's go to the instruction manual. That's all you have to say, brother. Instruction manual gonna solve any argument.
But the thing is you shouldn't have to get into that kind of conversation
Right.
on a feast day.
Yeah.
And
if you're engaging in that kind of conversation,
You
it's
just
time
killed
to
it.
part
Yeah,
ways
yeah.
because you're in the wrong place.
Right.
You're in the wrong place, regardless of who. Most High has no respect to persons.
That's right.
It's like you going
Either
to the,
you on the right side or you on the wrong side. It don't matter who you are.
Right.
Either you on the wrong side or the right side.
Yeah.
Moses asked, those that's on the side of the Most High step on this side.
Yeah.
He had to put to death over 3,000
Yeah,
men
he
that
did.
day in one day who was of his family, his brethren,
After the Red Sea.
after the Red Sea, who chose not to be on the side of righteousness, who chose to do their own,
Right.
lean to their own understanding. Brother, this is a serious walk we in.
Yeah.
This is about salvation or damnation.
Yes, it is.
It's very serious. It's cut. It's clear cut.
But it's not grievous, like.
It's not grievous at all. It's very simple, actually. All we have to do is follow the instructions of our Father.
Yeah.
That's it. We are children, just follow the instructions.
Let the
That's
flesh
all we
go.
have to do. Let the flesh go. If we're going to follow Hamashiach, we seeking salvation, it's all about Hamashiach. It's all about Christ, not Aaron.
That's right.
It's about going through what Christ instructed us to do. And he's instructed this same thing in the New Testament,
Yeah.
in the Old Testament.
Yes, sir.
The New Testament is nothing but a reiteration of the Old Testament with more clarity about who you're dealing with.
And
who
fulfillment.
the intercessor is.
And fulfillment.
And the fulfillment. So this next question we're finna address is dealing with that whole matter.
Yeah.
The book of Hebrews is dealing with that high priest who we must go to, who's the propitiation.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Between man and the Most High.
Yeah.
But look, now,
So-
it's a question right here that's on the same.
But let me say this before you say this, because I was holding it like, it's like going, if one doctor say, you got this problem, it's athlete feet. The other doctor say you got gangrene. So both of them say go get a second opinion. But the second opinion is not going to the one doctor to say it's athlete feet and the other one to say gangrene. They arguing about your foot. No, I'm telling you because my studies say it's athlete feet. Have you been scratching uncontrollably? And then the other one say gangrene. Does it smell like a stinking foot? So a doctor will tell you go get a what? Second opinion. Because he want 2 experts on that subject matter. If they agree that it's athlete foot, then go get some Desenex.
Right.
Don't believe just the one and then you be rubbing anything on your foot because you saying, well, I know them 2 said it, but I just kind of got to agree. See, he kind of wise over there.
But ain't that still following the instructions of
Of
the
a
script?
man.
That's what.
That's following us two
Witness.
or more witnesses.
So that's
shall
what we
everything
saying.
be established.
The
So
doctors
they
tell
even
you.
following these instructions. Everything has to come out of here. If it's not coming out of here, don't deal with it.
Right.
It's no good.
Right.
It's death. There's only right and wrong, light and darkness.
Right.
There's no in between. Most High say he's not dealing with lukewarm.
Yeah.
Either you hot or you cold.
Yeah.
Either they're on it or they're not.
They're not. And look, he
Either
said,
they're seeking or they're not.
they're not. what is that, Sirach 38, what's the physician? Sirach 38, right?
Yes.
He said he gave you the physician. So the physician never prescribes a prescription until you say yes to it. So when you come in, the first thing he said, what's wrong with you? I don't know, my arm keep doing like this. Well, what made it do that? I don't know. You ain't got no pills? Wait a minute, I gotta check it out first. And then he said, oh, it's caused by this. The first thing a doctor will always do is give you a diet. This is what you got to eat right now.
That's right.
You can't eat that more. That's what's causing that arm to do like this. And you say, none of it? He say, none of it. Well, now I can cut it all loose, but that one part of it, I got to have that. Now, you doctor, I just got to have it. And so at that point, then the doctor say, well, let me give you this, because it's going to allow you to eat what's killing you. What you here for is just going to stretch it out, but you're going to have pain to continue to eat this. But I'm going to give you this, and it's going to let you swallow it, and it's going to be okay. But this, if I give you this, you're going to get side effects. You'll be able to enjoy that meat, but you're going to have visible gas in public. Now, one armpit will stink, and this one won't. Snot will come out of one nostril, and you'll be looking like Roscoe or Martin. But at least you'll be able to eat that piece of pork. Or you can take the diet that I'm telling you to get off of that meat, and you won't have to take any prescriptions. So they do exactly like what the Most High did. They're not the devil like most people will tell you. They follow the rules. They say get off of it. If you can't get off of it, then here's your Band-Aid.
Band-Aid, yep.
Like that every commercial now, you can't get past it now. Two men kissing, it's just homosexual activity all through it. And they're promoting. I don't have to worry about HIV if I take hump eliminator. Hump eliminator allows us to hump and eliminate HIV, but you got to keep taking hump eliminator. And then hump eliminators turn your baby toes this way. But you get hump eliminator. But it's always a side effect unless you just quit what that problem is. And that's turn your mind not from a man, but to a woman. You understand what I'm saying? Ain't no hump eliminator gonna make that man be a woman. It's just not going to happen. You feel me on that? Because the instructions say it can't happen. You're going to have to get a substitute. Like, what you laughing about? Let's get some more of this, y'all. What we at?
Now, this that question out.
Okay.
Now, Q Real Live asked the question a while ago. And it's, can someone who is not a believer eat at Yah's feast days?
No.
See, that's what I was saying. I wanted to put it out.
And what we're talking about is a believer. Yeah, see, we got to get the understanding of what a believer is. See, some people have believer as long as you believe you Israel.
Right.
A true believer is to believe every word in here has been tried 7 times and there's no faults in it.
That's right.
See, if you believe it's possible that Paul could tamper with the Bible, then you're not a believer. You can't choose what you want to say about Paul and then the next breath quote Paul saying this over there.
That's correct.
And you just said he's no good and look out for him. So what you do is now you're at a feast day. It's like a booger that fly in a pot of greens. If they dip it out, will you still get some of the greens over here? Or is the whole pot tainted?
Is it still good?
It's still good. You like, man, you know, like people tell you, I dipped that hog out of there. You can eat them greens. What about the juice?
Ain't good now.
Broth of abominable.
Broth of abominable things. See, that's what I'm saying. You can't dip nothing out of it. The law is straightforward.
You can cut through the juice.
You can cut through the juice. They just right there. The law says, do it like this. If you don't do it like this, I'm going to whoop your rear end.
But in the law, in the book of Leviticus, I have to find the exact chapter, but it says anything unclean in your vessels or touch your pot, you have to destroy the whole pot.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Everything. If a spoon touch it, throw it away.
Throw it away. That's my good spoon. That's my good spoon.
It touched that swine, it's got to go.
Got to go.
It helped you eat death.
Yes, sir. So now coming
You
over,
couldn't
you
even
ready
have
to touch.
You couldn't have furniture with things that were not for consumption laying all over it.
That's right. But we have to be careful that we don't mix diet with what you can use.
Right, with just usage.
Right. Like we
Not
can't.
human consumption versus human usage.
That's right.
Tools.
Absolutely. See, like we can't eat a badger to consume it for food, but we can consume it for his skin for other things because it's waterproof. And Ezekiel 16, yeah, they was our Timberlands. Badger skin shoes. He said, I shod you in badger skin shoes. And look, the weasel family is off limits, but the badgers of the weasel family, the badger skin was covering the Ark of the Covenant. Most holy relic on planet Earth. What is badger skin doing over the top of it?
Keeping it dry.
Because it's waterproof.
It
It's
serves a
shockproof. It had a purpose, but not to have badger skin. You can't have badger skin soup. It was used for something else. Like, look, ain't nobody worried about alligator. You can't eat alligator, can you?
No.
But tell somebody to get out of them gator shoes. You're illegal in them, player. You need to get out of them now.
Okay.
And you at the OJ's concert. So you show up as hell taking pictures barefoot. No, but you can't eat alligator, but you can wear them gator shoes. Because the Father dressed us in gator shoes, so to speak. And Ezekiel 16 said, when I married y'all, I put y'all in badger skin shoes. Because they're waterproof sandals. They're waterproof, they tough as nails, but better not be chewing on for food.
We walked through the wilderness and didn't know why these sandals
40 years.
That's what I was about to say.
turn over nothing.
That's right.
You can walk for 40 years in some Nikes in them
Boy,
bad
look
hookers.
here.
You ain't getting 40.
Ain't got no bot.
Ain't got no
You
bottom.
can't get
That's
40 days of straight
Yeah.
walking in them.
Boy, I'm talking about 40 years in the wilderness, heels never ran down. Boy, look here, 40 days, boy, your soles around these little cheap shoes be thin enough you can tell the year of a quarter if you step on it.
They saying Ike now.
Yeah, Ike's now. Yeah, let's get it, y'all. We gotta get caught up. Where we at?
Hebrews 4.
Huh?
Hebrews chapter 4.
Who had a question?
My man.
Who?
The man who just talked
You had
about
another one? Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, bro.
No,
Get this
don't
question.
it.
Don't apologize, brother.
This is my last one for real.
No,
That's what the prophet. Hey, that's what the prophet said to the Most High.
Look,
One more.
Yeah, you did it. Because we still gotta go over your Enoch, so, yeah. One more on this topic.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
So, all of this, I would say, falls on my head because, like, I'm one of the first ones in my family to try to, stir away and try to find the truth. I was the first one missing out on holidays and
Yeah.
everything. So now people are following suit.
Yeah,
So I'm the one they come and ask questions to.
absolutely.
But at the same time, like, yes, I know a little bit more than y'all, but I'm not in a position to teach. It's like when so now they're like, they're on fire on everything, and they very, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Enthusiastic about it.
Right.
So when they will tell me that, all right, we're gonna do this, it's like I would feel like, all right, it's like being in the car. I know we're not supposed to go down this street,
Right.
but I don't always have the knowledge to say we should go down this street.
Yeah.
But I know that this is the wrong way.
Well,
Let
look,
me out
when
the
you're a
car.
driver, like say you got here, let me out the car door if you're in the passenger seat. But when you're a driver, when you first get your driver's license, first thing you do, you don't get on the highway, just get your driver's license.
Right.
Because that will be the last time you drive. When you get on the highway, because it's too fast, the speed, you ain't got time, you don't have a margin for error, so to speak, on the highway. So you start off what you know. So you teach them what you know. If you take them on the highway and you don't know what to do with a car at 65 miles an hour, they ain't gonna know being in the passenger seat.
Right.
See, it's like you got three people in the car, the driver, the president, and the vice president. Who's the most important person in the car?
The drive.
The driver. Oh, they gonna be back there like that. Hold it! Get a grip on it! Hold it, boy! Hold it! That's all they can do. Because they in the back seat. You the most important person in there. He just got a title. So it could be at that house, Martin Luther King, Farrakhan, who they may consider great people. If you're just a driver, you got to have them saying, young man, that's outstanding what you saying. I never looked at it like this. Your mother then gonna say, damn, he quiet the preacher down. Farrakhan was silent.
Right.
Then they'll be on you because look, he take you two of a household, or three of a city or family. It's not saying if you got 10 people in your household. He's saying only 2 gonna be the light. The other 8 will get it from them 2. One may move away and he'll handle it out there, and then you got the other light here at home. Like for instance, me and my brother, Nerf used to joke me out because I came to him and they were like, why we can't eat no duck? No studying, just winging. Because they got webbed feet. That ain't in the scripture. Because they got webbed feet. But I didn't have nothing at that time. My diet laws were not established within me to answer the question. I should have said, I'm going to go find out and then I'll get back with y'all. That's what you're supposed to say.
Right.
Because it's a 70-year course. You got time to get it right, but come right back. So that's all it is, bro. Know what you can tell and know what's, you know, a little bit above your pay grade, so to speak. You be like, I'm going to get on that and I'll get back with y'all. Because see, what's happening is people see the light. And one thing about it, they know who's a hireling. Like preachers, a different thing. They know why they're teaching the word the way they're teaching it. I'm not getting no training. But you're going at it this hard and you don't want nothing for it, but just to give it to you to know it like me. That's why they keep coming to you when trouble happens and don't go to the pastor.
Right.
That they're used to going to because he ain't gonna know nothing about this. Let's go to that boy we say was crazy and in a cult. He knows. Mm-hmm. See, so it's heaping coals on their head, not yours.
Right.
See, they looking for the cool side of the pillow. That's what heaping coals on your head because your conscience come into play. Now you can't sleep because of what you said to them and what the pastor was saying. So now he's flipping the pillow over. It's hot, it's sweating around here. You know, and all you said was keep the commandments and live. The preacher said we ain't got to do them and live. He nailed them to the cross. Now your head flipping. It ain't no problem with us. It's a problem with you till you quit lukewarming and decide what I'm going to follow. Either commandments of men or the law of the Most High. The law of the Most High. It's a total difference than saying I'm doing right. Right is you know the law. That's why I say a righteous man don't need the law. It don't mean you ain't got, can't nobody tell you shouldn't steal. It's saying, why are you asking me that and I already know it? That's like why we get this feast day and we got our swords out chopping each other up. No, come on. Hold on, man, put that potato salad down. Come over here. He said at a feast day, it's not for that. It's to enjoy and give the Most High all the glory. Everybody at their doctor's appointment.
That's right.
Just like when you go to the doctor, you see everybody in there before you, like, damn, I should have got up 15 minutes early. These people keeping their doctor appointment early.
Right.
They said arrive 15 minutes early. I'm 3 seconds early. But they already here. So in like manner, bro, I know we went all the way around to get that understanding, but I guess what we need to do, like, hit that 1 Corinthians 10. Let's just hit that so we get some understanding. See, this will clear up if they say you shouldn't be unequally yoked. You can have friends that are Muslim. You can have friends that are first day Adventists or what is 7 day Adventists. You can have somebody that's to go to the last Baptist church. That's what I'm waiting to see, boy. Everybody got a first Baptist. Yeah, so you can be all in the same room. Those can be your friends, but you cannot come into fellowship. Fellowship means we lay out the rules of our superior power that gives us health and well-being. You lay out them rules. And if those rules are not what's in here, and those rules are for the moon god or Egyptology, that means you're coming into fellowship with him. You cannot, under no circumstances, being an Israelite, somebody say, bro, would you, come on, man, I just want to bring you to the mosque, man. They got a guest speaker down there. No, you can't. That's a whole nother doctrine talking about another god, the moon god. You cannot go. That don't mean you say, hey, bro, let's go play a game of pool. Well, he already knows what you believe. He will never try to promote his doctrine to you. He just need to get you somewhere where his leaders that fooled him, see if they can get you. He may not be doing it on purpose, but he's trying to figure out why it don't resonate with me. Because every time I ask you about the Quran, you just pull up the black man's guide. Elijah Muhammad say, they don't even read the Quran. Elijah Muhammad say, you ever seen them read any other book? First thing they do is give you what was it called, like the black man, what was that book called? That's what Muslims introduce you to. They don't introduce you to the Quran. A man-made doctrine. Well, Elijah Muhammad say, the Watchtower will do this. The Watchtower will say, but ain't none of that in here. The Pope say, ain't none of what the Pope say in here. Jim Jones say, ain't no take suicide pills in here. David Koresh say in here, ain't nothing in here to say you can get somebody and then take their child, take their wife and have a baby by her, and then tell him you ought to thank me for impregnating your wife. That ain't in here.
You ought to thank
That's
me
against the law for that to be in this book. This book is about law-abiding citizens. If you want to be in that kingdom, you're going to have to abide by the laws of the Bible, not the laws of a man. Give me some of that 1 Corinthians 10, Elisha, so we can get this clear. If one bids you to a feast.
1 Corinthians chapter 10.
See, y'all, and it ain't like you can't go, because Christ did it in like I say, Matthew 5th chapter. He tells us what we can't go to. He said if they sacrificing to demons and devils, we know you can't go to a Halloween party. I don't care. Look at what the preachers do. All year, 364 days, they cussing the devil out, but that one day, so you don't get razor blades or nails in your candy, we're going to have trunk or treat at the school. That's like switching the day for a feast day. So now, our candy is devil-free, but it's on the devil's day. You understand what I'm saying? So now you getting candy out of there, out of this trunk. But this supposed to be a man of God allowing you to participate in a day of the devil.
Right.
Because he has the candy in the trunk of the car. In the parking lot, the devil look like you still my disciple. You still doing what I require. Your God don't allow that. That's not the sweet tooth you think it is. Go ahead, Emo.
I've had Pastor tell me, and before I came to this direction, freedom. I asked her about Halloween, and I said, we're not supposed to do Halloween. And she said, well, she kept her grandchildren from going out, and therefore she had it in the church.
Right, in the church.
And
I want y'all to think about this, Cole. So technically, every church is unclean, especially if they have a funeral in it. How you bringing a dead body into a place of worship? That's why you have to be careful and say, come to our church. The Spirit of the Lord is there. Most I say, I don't dwell in temples made with men's hands. This is just a place of worship. We can't fix our mouth to say, come down there to the serious building where God is there and the truth, man. Most High ain't in here.
We
You
can't
don't
even turn
dwell
these
in there.
fans on.
Look here. What say it again?
We can't even turn these fans
It's a
on.
remote control
We don't know how
somewhere.
to work them fans.
Right.
So that's God in here.
Right. But when you say that, you make them think salvation is in a building.
Right.
Acts 7:24, Acts 7:48 say he does not dwell in temples made with man's hand. Even King Solomon, there was no hammers and nails. Every block fit like this. There was no hammers and nails. It fit perfectly. Gravity held that building together. You know why? See up there, see what that's nailed up there? That right there to say, you know, Judah come through that gate, I did that. No, ain't gonna be no self-glory.
Right.
No hammers and nails. What you got said?
You said Satan don't dwell in those houses.
No, I said the Most High said he don't dwell in temples made with men's hands.
Okay.
So any place, any building, if you say God lives here, you're a liar. Because what you're going to do is you're going to fool people and they're going to be in a building that they think God will come in there. He said those are places of worship because he said church is two or more.
That's right.
If you on a bus stop and both of y'all are talking about this and y'all agree in one, that's church. That's fellowship.
And ain't no roof.
It's church because he said I'll send you out by twos, at the most three. I can't send you out at a gang. If I send you out 4 or 5, y'all going to have too many opinions. 2 people going to know each other. He gonna know if you get back to back, we know what he facing on that end, he know what I'm facing ahead. But we both on the same page. If you don't know what your partner doing, that's a problem in this walk. So especially on a feast day, if you don't know why you going to the doctor, he's gonna tell you why you there. So with that, let's hit that 1 Corinthians 10 real quick. Did you have something, sis, right there? You had anything? Okay, you good.
Where you
Let's
wanna
go
start
ahead.
at, bro?
Start at 1.
Okay.
And y'all, this will answer these questions. So every question that y'all, they that's put out there, the Bible said this ain't nothing new. Look, he knew the New Testament. See, anybody fighting against the New Testament, tell them to prove Christ hit the earth yet. Then you can't prove Christ hit the earth with nothing new. There's nothing at the end of the book of Malachi that says Christ is on earth. If the New Testament doesn't exist, you couldn't prove it. So how is somebody see, that's what we're talking about, the haters of Messiah.
That's it.
They don't want to believe he hit the earth because they want the kingdom back now. And he told them it's not now for you. You better be looking at some Amos 5:18. What is the day of the Lord to you? Well, I don't care nothing about you knowing you Israel.
Right.
Or you a prepared Israelite for this prepared kingdom that I went back to do. Or you prepared to enter in. Ain't no hookups. Ain't no back door for the kingdom. Man, holler at Moses and see if he'll unlock the back door for me. Nope.
Right.
Go ahead, Elisha.
1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 1. Moreover.
Hold on, is it? Yeah, okay, that's it. Go ahead, Elisha.
Moreover,
I
brethren,
get it 1 Corinthians. Good.
I would not that ye should be ignorant.
What he say? The first word he said that we be not what?
Ignorant.
See, ignorant means without knowledge of a subject. It ain't just a bad word. Like you ignorant. If you say it like that, then it's a railing. But if you say ignorant of a subject, it means without knowledge of a subject. I'm ignorant to it. I have no knowledge of how that works. Go ahead, Elisha.
How that all our fathers were under the cloud, and all passed through the sea,
Right.
and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and did all eat the same spiritual meat.
See, now this kills those doctrines of men like little Dickie Shepherd and them, what is it, GOCC, that teach you must be baptized water or you can't get salvation. Well, this is a baptism here in the Red Sea. Did anybody get wet coming through the Red Sea?
Wet.
So the
Passed
first
under
thing,
water and didn't get wet.
look, and me and Elisha called him, we asked him because he told us, I beseech you. We said, okay, we'll look at it. We called back the next week and he was stunned. He was like, what, who is this? These brothers out of St. Louis, bro. You know, we talked about that. We just want to ask y'all, I got my brother Elisha on the line too. Who is that? Elisha said, hey, this Elisha, bro, how you doing?
He said, and he said,
no, I'm telling you what he said. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, shalom. And then I said, what we want to talk about, bro, is baptism only water immersion like you teach? He said, what? I said, we're asking, is baptism only water immersion like you teach? He said, who you say you had on the phone with me? Elisha said, it's Elisha, bro. He said, don't call me with no nigga on the phone, clicker.
Sure did. Me and Daniel on the phone like,
well, we like, that was quick. Hello, that was quick. But see, once you stop the program, because he has account for this baptism, then he got account for Acts 19, which is a double baptism. They had the baptism of John, and they say, we haven't received the Holy Spirit. He say, what baptism? The baptism of repentance. That's water baptism. That's you're making a vow. When I go down, I'm not going to come back up a wet sinner no more. Well, if you do that, then the Holy Spirit will come upon you. But if you come back up the same way you went down, you just doing what everybody else doing. Right. I'm getting baptized and don't know why. You have no instruction. You were just told I'm supposed to get baptized. Why? And now people put water baptism above Holy Spirit baptism. The laying on of hands. What was first? Moses laid his hands on Joshua and passed him the spirit of wisdom. Of might and courage. So laying on hands was way before water baptism. And breathing on the Holy Spirit. Christ breathed the Holy Spirit into Adam and Eve. Water baptism came when you're cleansing unrighteousness, like that baptism of Noah's Ark. Cleanse everybody that was on the boat. Everything else got wiped out. So you understand? So when you go down in the water, you should come up and the Holy Spirit should be on you. That's when Satan's attack. That's when he attacked in the wilderness after that baptism what Elijah was talking about earlier. When they had the Spirit, they were clean of sin. This is what I want you to understand. When they went through the Red Sea, sins were wiped out. And Satan was right there. Y'all want to play? Look,
this golden
the wilderness too far away. Y'all got to do some fighting in there. Y'all look, let's have some fun. Now go and loosen your loins. Moses went up and got the law. And the Most High say, they playing down there, Moses. He said, no, Lord. They champion your name. They got chants going. He like, Moses, I know they chant for my name.
That ain't it.
That sounds like a Soul Train line. And yeah, look at when Moses got back down there, they was around that golden calf the same way. And then when they show you the Ten Commandments, they show some boy playing the Israelite have 2 women in this arm, and he run behind a bush, and that bush is shaking violence. This after coming through the Red Sea.
After baptism.
That's why Satan comes after your soul is cleansed. Then he wants to dirty you up to the point that where it's blasphemy and you can't get back in anymore. Like Ananias and Sapphira in the 5th chapter of Acts. You lied to the Holy Spirit. You ain't lied to us. You lied to God. Death time, the death angel, he was right there.
When Christ talked about Matthew 12:48.
Yes, sir. 2 unpardonable sins. You must know what they are. Because if you don't, the devil going to have one foot in a grave and the other one on a banana peel. If you don't know what you cannot do. He said everything else can be forgiven. A living dog better than a dead lion. But if you blaspheme the Holy Spirit or take the mark of the beast, there's never forgiveness in this world or the world to come. So that means unpardonable. So there ain't no thing as saved, once saved, always saved. Right. Because they were saved in the Red Sea. Yep. Ananias fire was saved. But what happened? Lake of fire.
He still had to preach.
Judas Iscariot got breathed on.
3,000 died in the wilderness.
Right. Judas Iscariot got breathed on and cast out devils. But guess what? He committed treason on the Most High. Mm-hmm. He committed treason against the Son of the Man. He said it's been better you had not been born, player.
Then tried to feel bad.
And then try to feel bad. That's when Satan and his demons jump out of you. Then you come back to yourself. It's like people kill everybody in the house, and when the police get there, they looking where that blood come from. They like, you know where it came from? No, I don't. No, I don't. It was a demon that did it to me. Okay, no, that wasn't a demon. You just killed your child. Let's go to the penitentiary. Satan will leap out the car. He do reverse boys in the hood. Once you in trouble, he tell you, let me out the door, let me out the car door. Then the devil get out. Yeah. You jump out. And you got it by yourself. Now you in bait car.
Right.
Let's get some more, y'all. 1 Corinthians 10. Go ahead.
1 Corinthians 10, verse 4.
Yeah.
And did all drink the same spiritual drink.
What kind of drink they drink, license?
Spiritual drink. For they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them. And that rock was Christ.
See, Paul said that rock was Christ that kept Pharaoh off of us. Go ahead.
But with many of them, Yahweh was not well pleased. For they were overthrown in the wilderness.
Where were they overthrown?
In the wilderness.
Y'all see how this 10 started off saying they got baptized and then they lost their salvation. That quick, that's when the devil come. The devil came to Adam and Eve right after he breathed on them. Then he came. Boy, if I can get them like this, if I can get an eternal curse on them, they can't come back. Let's get some more. What's it say?
Verse 6. Now these things were our examples, to the intent we should not lust after evil things, as they also lusted. Neither be ye idolaters, as were some of them. As it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play. Neither let us commit fornication, as some of them committed, and fell in one day 23,000.
Y'all see that? 23,000. Go ahead.
Neither let us tempt Christ, as some of them also tempted, and were destroyed of serpents.
Y'all see this saying, neither let us, so that's talking about in the wilderness. When Moses had to make what's called a Nahashatan, that cross that the Pope has all the time, that's what they reared up for disobedience in there. And they say, well, if you look at it, then whoever bit by a serpent, they're going to be cured of it. But you have to follow the rules and look at Nahashatan. Well, King Hezekiah had to destroy it because people started worshiping it. Just like they'll do today if they have on a cross. And see, you think this idol's going to help you. It's a cross. It's saying I'm a Christian or I'm a Christ follower, but you got it like this, scared to walk down the steakhouse alley. Lord, if you be with me, I swear I will never do wrong again. Ooh.
But you also see that the medical society has taken
it too, absolutely.
Nehushtan as their symbol.
But it's called Nehushtan. Hezekiah had to destroy it because we started worshiping it. But John 3:13 say we're going to look to Christ the same way. He's going to be lifted up on the cross. So whatever sins you do, you got to look there. You can't look to an animal no more. This is what Paul is saying. Get animals and sacrifices and doves out of your mind. The one that's on that cross, if you done evil, you have to do like the wilderness. See, the Bible compares where it tells you to look at things, how to look at them. That keeps you from listening to a man. It says the way Moses reared it up.
Right.
It's the way you have to look at it like this. Why you do it another way? If I say go down King's Highway, that's what I mean, go down King's Highway. What you doing on Coke Bridge?
Going the wrong way.
Boy, look here. Let's get some more, y'all. Go ahead.
Man, stay off
Coke Bridge, yeah. Boy, look, that's going to be a touring spot for people that come from out of town.
Yeah, they want. Let's go see Coke Bridge.
And take us back Coke Bridge.
Do not go on
You
Coke
don't
Bridge.
want to go on Coke
Look,
Bridge.
yeah, go ahead.
That ain't no tourist attraction, y'all. Stay away from Coke Bridge.
Go ahead, bro.
Verse 7.
Yeah.
No, verse 8.
Yeah.
No, verse 9.
Verse 10.
10.
You get
Sure
it
not
right.
11?
Yeah.
All right. 10. Neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured, and were destroyed of the destroyer.
See, murmuring is going to feast days and arguing about. No murmuring. We got our instruction. What are you questioning for at this hour?
Yeah. Whispering.
Backbiting.
Tail bearing.
Yeah. All of the above. Go ahead, Elijah.
Verse 11. Now all these things happened unto them for example.
For what, Elijah?
Example.
Uh-huh.
And they are written for our admonition,
Right.
upon whom the ends of the world are come. Wherefore let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall.
Let he do what?
Take heed lest he fall.
Uh-huh.
There hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man.
So ain't nothing you can say is happening to you ain't never happened on planet Earth today. You ain't never walked in my shoes, dog. Well,
Somebody
I can flip
have.
these scriptures and show you somebody with that same power on. Same size, same width, same symbol on it. I can show you somebody. Let's turn to 1 Kings. And that helps them say, damn, I ain't the only one. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Verse 13.
Yeah.
There have no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man.
Right.
But Yahweh is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able.
What is he faithful to do?
That not to suffer you to be tempted above you are able.
He's gonna always make an escape route for you.
That's it.
If you dreaming and you ain't supposed to be in that room you in, the alarm clock will go off and won't nobody be there. Some of the phone will ring, won't nobody be on the other end, and it won't have where the number came from. You understand? From he'll escape. You know what the problem is? The lust of the flesh. You
Wanna
want to
go
get
back
back
to
in
sleep.
there because you can't believe.
Want to go back to sleep and get back into that same
Right.
dream.
You had Lori Harvey and Beyonce in the same room. I got to get back in that dream. Who woke me the hell up? Who woke me up? But you know what? The Most High gonna just have you watching yourself. You'll never get back into the body of it. It'll just be like you looking through a mirror at yourself. Because now he wants you to see you turn back to wickedness. Both of these women are married. So you know what I'm saying? And you're in there. You can't sin in your sleep.
Beholding yourself in the glass.
Boy, look here. Go ahead.
Verse 12.
Yeah.
Wherefore let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall.
Uh-huh.
No, I'm all the way back down.
Yeah. Yeah, gotta keep that finger on that.
Yeah, I do know.
So you do now. Go ahead.
Let's get to one.
Yeah.
There have no temptation taken you but such as is common to man, but Yahweh is faithful,
Uh-huh.
who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. Wherefore, my beloved, my dearly beloved, flee from idolatry.
Flee from where?
Idolatry.
Uh-huh.
I speak as to wise men. Judge ye what I say. The cup of blessing which we bless, is it not the communion of the blood of Hamashiach?
That's what we're talking about. When we talk about this one love, or when we ask you what cup you drinking from, we're talking about the cup of Messiah born of a virgin. high priest after the order of Melchizedek. That ain't hard to repeat back to nobody, is it, Elisha?
No, it shouldn't be.
Look, you had passwords in your club, didn't you?
Yeah.
Say Buki Ba and scratch like this to get in. Buki Ba, and the door open. Drink from this cup and the door of salvation opens. You can't drink from another cup. You can't drink from a cup that say Joseph is the daddy. It's like drinking from that cup with a cigarette butt in it. Because you're saying the lamb, the unblemished lamb is now blemished. That's like sipping your favorite drink and somebody, and you like, you done spiced it up, ain't you? No, see. Go ahead, Elisha.
Oh, no. Verse 15.
Yeah.
The end of 16.
16.
Yeah.
All right. My finger there.
Read it and start 16 over, Elisha.
Yeah. The cup of blessing which we bless, is it not the communion of the blood of Hamashiach?
He asking a question, ain't it, Elisha? Go ahead. You should be ready to answer that. Go ahead.
The bread which we break,
Uh-huh.
is it not the communion of the body of Hamashiach?
You shouldn't be no way, shape, or form concerned about that. Shalom, bro. Look, just watch the
Shalom, my
class
brother.
and we're going to go over the Enoch question. Okay.
Bless up, brother.
Go ahead, bro.
Verse 17.
Yeah.
For we being many are one bread.
Y'all see that? We been what, Elisha?
Many
Uh-huh.
are one bread.
Uh-huh.
And one body.
Right.
For we are all partakers of that one bread.
So before Paul even get to the question we're trying to get to in verse 27, he's letting you know what cup we drinking from. So now it will be on you, if you're challenging Paul, to see if anything about this cup of salvation is different than what Christ taught. I don't want to hear nothing about Paul arguing with Peter, or Paul didn't cross the river over here, or who named it. This, the bottom line, he's putting it on the line. If I'm teaching a different cup, if I'm teaching a cigarette butt is in that teaching, then call me out on it. They don't call them out on it.
No.
They just try to look here. How we know the label on that bottle is the truth? It say Hennessy.
But the one who may say Paul is in conflict with is the one that's checking them about Paul.
Boy, ain't that crazy? That's the craziest thing Peter
How
said.
you gonna say that Paul was in conflict with Peter and Peter checking you about dealing with Paul?
Peter say everybody, if you don't know the truth, you will wrestle with Paul's writing to your own destruction. Now, how the man he arguing with tell you that about him?
Boy, that's
See,
crazy.
that's how what's called twisting the scripture. And that's what Paul said they will rest, or that means twist. Short for wrestling. You know how Pat O'Connor used to do that twist move? What they call that license when they grind your head like this? Yeah. And then take you to the mat.
You a nuggie on
Yeah. Go ahead.
Nurse must have did that.
Yeah, a couple times. And take off, man. Ran in the bathroom and locked the door. And I beat on that door. He talking about, I said, you got to come out of that sometime. He said, no, I don't. I got some water. I got a pack of M&M's and the toilet in here. He waited till I fell on off to sleep. Go ahead.
Verse 18.
Yeah.
Behold, Israel after the flesh.
After the what?
Flesh.
Uh-huh.
Or not they which eat of the sacrifices partakers of the altar?
Uh-huh.
What say I then? That the idol is anything?
Uh-huh.
Or that which is offered in sacrifice to idols is anything?
Uh-huh.
But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils,
Uh-huh.
and not to Yahweh.
Right.
And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils.
What should we not have?
Fellowship with devils.
See, because it's two separate doctrines. Fellowship you can't come into. You can't go to a Muslim mosque. Not for fellowship.
You can't eat of their sacrifices.
You cannot eat of their sacrifices. Because it says they sacrifice to devils. He like an idol is nothing. That statue ain't gonna never eat that sandwich you put in front of it. A dog will come by here and eat it before that statue eat it. But demons and devils, we're dealing with a whole different subject matter now. They will eat.
Spiritual wickedness in high places.
Go ahead, Elisha.
Verse 21.
Yeah.
You cannot drink the cup of the Most High and the cup of devils.
Yeah.
You cannot be partakers of the Most High's table and of the table of devil.
Right?
Do we provoke the Most High to jealousy? Are we stronger than he?
No.
All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient.
All things are lawful. The law ain't went nowhere. It may not be expedient for you. See, so you may have found out, man, I wasn't supposed to be doing that. Now I got to hustle back. I still got to keep the law, but it's going to take me some time to get that one back straightened out.
Yeah, but that's
because I got behind the 8 ball on it.
But that's all right. For consciousness sake, you know how to correct it.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Elisha.
All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not. 24. Let no man seek his own, but every man another's wealth.
Y'all understand that? Like Revelation 2 and 9.
Look after your brethren.
We know y'all suffer poverty and tribulation, but y'all are rich. And when you seek another's wealth, that means that everything you know, you present it out there for them to know it exactly like you know.
That's right.
See, it ain't no question when you hear somebody sound like you've been down to that Sirius building. You talk like them, absolutely. So whatever we're discussing, you know what we teach down there. And they know it. But what they try to do is just throw you off your game real quick. Think about this just 1 second, though. Did Paul really, you done already told them what cup you drink, and they didn't identify. If they get you off of your game that quick with a thought process, you ain't been doing no studying. You just sound like us, but you ain't us. You may be looking like us, but you ain't us. Because that shouldn't have made you doubt that quick. See, then we know you just repeating phrases we say. Foes up! That's all you know.
That's right.
Foes up!
That ain't in the scripture. That ain't in the scripture.
You know what I'm saying? So if that's all you know, you sound like that's the phrase we use down here, but all you know is the phrase.
Because all you banging is the foe.
Yeah.
Because you don't know why you banging the
Foe.
foe.
What the foe mean, bro? Right. I don't know.
Could be 64 block.
Foe trade.
Yeah, foe. Yeah. And look, they may think you talking about, bro, man, what, that's on the 5th floor? Oh.
No, we on the 4th floor now.
Go ahead, bro.
Verse 25.
Yeah.
Whatsoever is sold in the shambles, that eat, asking no question for conscience sake.
See, whatever sold in the shamble is the marketplace. If you know Sular Market has other meat besides lamb, you know that when you go down there. And you know it's a chance, if you don't tell them, can you wipe that blade off, they may cut your meat right behind other meat. That don't defile your meat. It's just that you know when you go to the marketplace, unless it say all Hebrew Israelite marketplace. Clean Leviticus 11 and Deuteronomy 4. Our chances of hitting Powerball twice in the same week, ain't Elijah, before you run across that store. So he say, if you go to Snooks, you can't keep worrying about what's on. If it say beef, then it's supposed to be beef. You understand what I'm saying? Beef is supposed to be beef. You can't keep questioning, man, flip it up, what them ingredients say. See right there, it's saying collagen gel and such and such on that makes it. Then you have to look at some, but some of them you have to look at because it may say beef
Stuffed in
Polish,
pork
stuffed in a pork casing. So you have to be careful of that. But to defeat that, what would you do, Elijah?
Not buy that.
Not go to that store. See, and then you say, well, that Islamic market right there, they don't have no pork in there. But who they pray to?
They sacrifice their
fine line to that.
Moon god.
Yeah.
You know
So
what
it's
you
still defiled.
right?
If you're looking at it in that perspective,
absolutely,
it's defiled meat. It's no different than you going somewhere that's serving swine.
Yeah,
it's no different because you have a devil doctrine.
Yeah,
behind that.
With that thinking, like when you go in there, you thinking they clean, they outside the covenant, they worship the moon god. You think you in there? See, dog, this is what I was telling you about. Ain't no pork in here, dog. Yeah, give me 2 of them lamb shanks, and they holler, Akbar, Akbar, Rakbar. And what that means, niggas in here think they finna do the Passover clean, but in here getting moon god meat.
Yeah, that they done probably said a prayer over.
So, look here. But
probably
we're not to be
incantations on it and all kind of madness. You don't know.
But instructions tell us, ask if it's been sacrificed to devil. That's what if they say no, you can buy it even in that store, but we still have rules to see if it's to an idol or if it's been sacrificed to devils. Keep reading, like it's gonna get clear. It'll explain itself. Go ahead. You're in 25 again.
Okay, 25 again. Whatsoever is sold in the shambles, that eat, asking no question for conscience sake. For the earth is the Most High's, and the fullness thereof. If any of them that believe not,
What they believe, Elisha?
not, bid you to a feast,
Right.
and you be disposed to go.
This is where we at. You have to look up the word disposed. While we're here, look it up. Can somebody look it up? Just so because we're in teaching class, y'all, we have to make sure. Because look, if there's a word you don't know what it means and you guess at that word and you read the next verse, you just lost the meaning.
Inclined to go.
Right. You see, you cannot pass up something, just to get there. All the instructions are there. Go ahead. What did it say, y'all?
Oh, I thought she
Disposed.
read it.
No, yeah, it could be, yeah.
Yeah, I got it, disposed. It says disposed, inclined or willing. James didn't seem disposed to take the hint.
Right.
It says inclined, predisposed, minded, willing, prepared, ready.
Prepared and ready to go if a non-believer bids you to a feast.
Did it say mindful?
Yeah.
Yeah, it said mindful.
See.
So that means in your conscience,
Yeah.
you're already prepared in the mental.
What to expect.
Right.
Yeah.
Not what not to expect. And then the deal is if an unbeliever bids you, you have the right to ask the question. What's going to be taking place there?
Right.
That 8th grade
What y'all
girl.
doing? How y'all do this?
Yeah.
How y'all do it?
Well, it's a little Christmas celebration, and they're gonna have some eggnog, and they're gonna be passing out some gifts, and they may have you sing a tune or two, and this how they finish out. But that girl you had the crush on in the 8th grade, she gonna be here, and you forgot all that other stuff. All of the devil's doctrine, all you hearing is that girl you had the crush on. And then she say her mistletoe is only for one man.
Uh-oh.
And she gave your initials.
You gonna crush,
There you go.
you gonna crush and crash.
Now you disposed to go because of that reason. Because the devil got you going for your lust now. Let's get some more. What else to say, Elisha?
Verse 28.
Yeah.
But if any man say unto you, this is offered in sacrifice unto idol, eat not for his sake that showed it, and for conscience sake.
And for conscience sake, go ahead.
For the earth is the Most High's, and the fullness thereof.
See, if they say unto you, this is a sacrifice, this is sacrifice to Molech. They say now your conscience have to kick in. You like, I can't eat that. Because after the feast comes the worship, don't it? Well, the feast concludes the worship.
Yeah.
The feast is what you get after making your choice of
Your
the day.
vows. Covenant.
Then you feast. So if they tell you that, and usually the devil's going to tell you because he don't get free cases. He just makes the party look more inviting. See, man, they ain't even got no real place up there. They still eating out of paper plates that they pass over. See, we got all the silverware over here, and then we got a Baphomet statue over there. But see, we got all real silverware. See, they told you it's a Baphomet statue over there.
Rush
But
right through
and
that,
rush right through that and come right back to all silverware, and we got this and we got that, and that's all you heard. And you heard Baphomet.
Right. Just like you go in a slant eye.
Yeah.
And you got a big old Buddha sitting at the table right posted up.
You can ask him.
A table of worship to Buddha.
He got money there. You have to ask him,
Cigarettes.
is everything y'all selling sacrificed to him? Yeah, the Buddha even got a pack of squares in there. Look, what do you call them when you buy singles? What they call them? Lucy's. That Buddha got Lucy's and loose change and Lucy's. But you have to ask them, is what y'all cooking sacrificed to this Buddha? If they say yeah, turn around and walk out. Go to another Chinese joint. If you eat Chinese joint food.
One told me it's just a statue and walked off. I still didn't trust him.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, see, you
Just
said
the way
for
he
conscience
said
sake,
it. Yeah, for conscience sake, I just quit doing it.
He may have heard that.
Because I didn't even see it's tucked down there for a long time. And I'm like, that ain't new. That's been there. Why I ain't been seeing that?
You just ain't been noticing.
Yeah.
Your belly was
up.
talking more than your conscience.
That's right. A whole lot of plain fried with bean sprouts was heavy on your heart.
You know
Till
I be
you
eating
just
that
have to
plain
see
fries.
that out of the corner of your
Plain
eye.
fries.
Let's get some more, y'all. Let's speed this on up, y'all. We ain't got but a few minutes. Go ahead. What verse you on? 32, Lice?
No.
29. Okay, thank you, mister.
Conscience, I say, not thine own.
Not thine what?
Own,
Uh-huh.
but of the other.
Uh-huh.
For why is my liberty judged of another man's conscience?
Uh-huh.
For if I by grace be a partaker, why am I evil spoken of for that which I give thanks?
Uh-huh.
Whether therefore ye eat or drink, or whatsoever ye do all to the glory of Yahweh.
Uh-huh.
Give none offense, neither to the Jews nor to the Gentiles, nor to the church of Yahweh.
Uh-huh.
Even as I please all men in all things, not seeking mine own profit, but the profit of many, that they may be saved.
That they may be what?
Saved.
See, that's the end result of what Paul was doing. If Paul told you to break the law, that was not his purpose. So any beef you would have with Paul would be off of that statement. What is he doing to get you to break the law of the Most High? Because see, these words coming out of his mouth, and they're continual challenging me. If y'all gonna challenge me on the law of God. Don't challenge me on no argument with Peter and then twist it all around and make it be what y'all do in y'all debate contest. This ain't that. Paul wasn't having no debate with Peter. And in Galatians 2:14, he went to him, he said, I thought you had enough with this with Cornelius. That Gentile. Now every time some Hebrews, now you eat with them Gentiles, soon as some Hebrews come, you disappear from them. You know you ain't supposed to be this. And Paul said, I checked Peter to his face. How you gonna play a stunt like that? You doing a bad service to Gentiles when you do this. Yeah, you Gentiles, I was the apostle to y'all, and here comes some Hebrews, gotta go. That's what Paul checked Peter about. And then Peter backed him up, didn't he?
Yeah. But it wasn't no continual back and forth fighting and conflict between them two.
That's a
They
made
represent
up.
the same doctrine.
Right. That's a made up argument. Let's finish that off.
Rumors.
That's it.
That's it? We
That
finished
was it,
that?
brother.
Okay. So y'all see, I hope that cleared up, but we got to get Hebrews 4:16. Did we get back to that?
No, we need that whole Hebrews, bro, so he can get an understanding of what that was.
So that 4:16, we went through that to get to if one bid you to a feast. We had to go through that, y'all, so that y'all understand that people will have you not going around your family, but you go to work to do the same thing. And then they'll have to have a clause, a self-clause to say, this is why we feel you can go to work and do it. And I can't do it over my parents' house. You tell me what's the difference. Who's keeping the law better of disobedience? Because that's what it would be. But just like you walk past that tree at work, hell, there's a Christmas tree out there, wasn't it? We just walked right past it. But the deal we made was we won't put up nothing because we were sharing this space with somebody else of another, and they can't put up nothing. But we don't need nothing put up to promote what we're talking about. We put this up in the airwaves. See, we don't need nothing that you can look at and say, this must be the house of God. You see that cross they had in there? That cross was bigger than everybody in there. That must be the house of God. Every man had on a pair of decent slacks, and every woman had on a dress down to their shoes. That's the house of God, I'm telling you.
What's wrong with my jeans?
Nobody opened their Bibles. They let the preacher talk. That's the house of God. Y'all, we laughing because it's the truth. Let's get some more. Where we at? Let's get right to that Hebrews 4:16.
I think Elisha didn't want to start at 1 or 9.
Yeah.
I think you already had one. We had to go over, then we left. Oh, let's start it again.
We hadn't
then.
even started.
Okay, go ahead, bro. We're getting down to 16. Because the question was verse 16.
Yeah.
So everybody listening, take a look at verse 16, and we're going to read up to the point to get the understanding of the subject matter. See, when you do cherry picking or verse teaching, a person will just go to that verse as they've been taught, and they miss all the understanding.
Right.
If you just hear it, and then verse 16, and then run to first base. After what?
You done already skipped.
Look, you just take off running to first base straight out the dugout.
Right.
That's gonna be a problem, man.
You ain't even
Just
swung.
dig out of there, ain't even swung, just head to it. Top speed, boy. I'm talking about, you know how you pass it up, you get to run past first base and run and touch the back wall. Woo!
And everybody just looking
And like,
at you.
shit, what the hell you playing?
Everybody just looking at you.
Yeah, boy.
Ref's like, okay, now go on
Go
back
back
down
over
there.
there. Shit, now you too tired.
Somebody call the doctor.
Now you too tired to swing. Go ahead, Lex.
They called the doctor in on him, boy. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 1.
Yep.
Let us therefore fear, lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it.
Uh-huh.
For unto us, and that's the subject matter, the
Yep.
rest.
Yep.
Coming into the Messiah's rest. For unto us was the gospel preached,
What was preached, Elisha?
the gospel,
Uh-huh.
as well as unto them. But the word preached did not profit them,
Uh-huh.
not being mixed with faith in them that heard it.
Right?
For we which have believed do enter into rest, as he said.
But what we have to do to enter that Elisha?
Believe,
Uh-huh.
because that's what establishment means.
Yeah.
You go to Chronicles 20:20. As I have sworn in my wrath, if they if they shall enter into my rest, although the works were finished from the foundation of the world. For he spake in a certain place of the seventh day on this wise, and from Yahweh did rest the seventh day from all his works.
Mm-hmm.
And in this place again, if they shall enter into my rest, seeing therefore it remaineth that some must enter therein, and they to whom it was first preached entered not in because of unbelief.
Because of what, Elisha?
Unbelief.
Y'all see that, y'all? That's not hard. That's what don't allow you to get into the kingdom, unbelief. And that's doubt. Nobody should be able to just say one thing and you off your game that soon.
Right.
How you off your game that soon and you been in this?
Because the seed fell on
Stony ground.
Stony ground, didn't take
Yeah.
no root. Verse 7.
Yeah.
Again, he limited a certain day, saying in David, today, after so long a time, as it is said, today, if ye will hear his voice, harden not your hearts. For as Yahweh Shah had given them rest, then would he not afterward have spoken of another day. There remaineth therefore a rest to the people of Yahweh. For he that is entered into his rest, he also hath ceased from his own works, as Yahweh did from his. Let us labor therefore to enter into that rest.
Right.
Lest any man shall fall after the same example of unbelief.
See, you have to labor to get to that rest.
Yes.
Like you labor in here to get to retirement, that rest. Some people say, I can do it as early as 62 or 67. I got to cut it off. You know, if you're able to do that rest early, you do it rest. And then retirement is what retirement is. I'm going to cut the grass. No, I'm going to cut the front, not the back. You have control of how you rest. That may be too much. That's what the Sabbath was all about. You can stop whatever you're doing and say, I'll pick up tomorrow. You're in control of how far you go with sweat on the Sabbath day.
Right.
That's what it means.
Whether you want to sweat or not.
Yeah, that's it. What you got, bro?
Oh, Ariella Yah, she asked a question earlier pertaining to the lesson, as basically what you just read, Hebrews 4, 1 through 11. Is it safe to say it's regarding the Sabbath day, the seventh day?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's that rest, but see, it's a different rest. Go ahead,
also
Elijah, break
talking
it
about
off.
an eternal rest.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Laboring to enter into eternal rest, where we're not looking for the every 7 day rest.
Right.
We're looking for 1,000-year rest.
That's right.
That's what we're laboring for, the 1,000-year rest. Not every 7 days.
Right.
Because after that 7 days is the first day of the week again, and we're back to work.
Back to work, back to labor.
So the Most High
again.
said, labor to enter into a rest, an eternal rest, where you have to labor no more like that.
That's right.
Like Genesis 3:17.
That's right. That's what we're talking about.
We want to get back to the Garden of Eden rest
Before the sin.
that Adam had before sin transgression.
That rest. And look, he was still working, wasn't he? Because
Yeah, he was still working. He had to till the ground.
He had to name animals.
Yeah, he was still working. But he could sit down and chill whenever he wanted to. It wasn't a laborious work where he had to grieve for or labor or labor for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Right.
a certain
In the
set
sweat,
hours,
in the
right?
sweat
In the
from
sweat
the
of his
brow,
brow,
like
right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Exactly,
didn't have to
right.
punch the clock. Oh, break's over. No, break how long you want break
Yeah,
to be.
You ain't meeting your quota.
Boy, look here. Ain't no meeting quotas there.
Ain't no write-ups.
And see, right, ain't no
Suspensions.
write-up, but you have to go back to that again. So keep your mind off of laboring for the weekend because you got to go back. Keep your mind on not having to go back.
Right.
All your labor will be in paradise. What you work for. Just like people today, if you work and you go and you retire from GM or something, you get to enjoy your house. Then you get to enjoy things. But the only thing about that labor, the government owns that land your
Right.
house sit on.
See,
We
and
got to
this-
get to that where he don't own it because
That's
people
right.
like,
Go
because
ahead.
you can pay $200,000 and you miss the taxes for 3 years. They don't care. That's our house now.
Right.
That can't happen in the kingdom. You got to do it what moth and what it say rust don't corrupt what you're trying to do. In this land, there's going to be corruption if you don't pay the man
Right.
who runs the nation that your house sits on his land. You can live there, but that's my land. Don't pay me for the use of my land. That's your car, but you put it on these roads. I got to have some tax money for you to drive on my roads in your car.
Yeah.
Or you just sit in your driveway and pretend you're driving. I'm going to the store. I'll be back.
In your mind, you going to my door.
What you get from the store?
Nothing.
Nothing. I turned around and come back.
A wish sandwich.
Yeah. Wish sandwich. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Now I'm gonna walk down there for real.
Yeah, go ahead, bro. Go ahead, Elijah.
Where am I at? Verse 8.
Yeah.
For if Yahweh had given them rest,
Uh-huh.
then would he had not afterwards spoken of another day.
That's right.
There remaineth therefore a rest to the people of the Most High.
Uh-huh.
For he that is entered into his rest, he also has ceased from his own works,
Uh-huh.
as Yahweh did from his.
Right.
Let us labor therefore to enter into that rest, lest any man should fall after the same example of unbelief.
And see, unbelief will get you back into trying to preach the weekly Sabbath like it's the rest. See, you ain't supposed to be doing nothing on that. How you gonna do that and you in the land of your captivity and you working? You ain't been free from bondage.
No.
You're still under that Sabbath as far as your responsibility of Genesis 3:17, work from the sweat of your brow. You don't get to escape that. So our focus can't be just dealing with that and we say that gets us to salvation. No, hope is the thing evident not seen.
That's right.
Can I see a Sabbath day that runs the Sabbath day forever? I don't have to go back. Like you on vacation for a whole week. Next thing you know, you into the third hour of the day on the last day of that vacation. You can't believe it. You be like, ain't this?
Man, it went by too fast.
I gotta
man.
go back tomorrow.
And then you walk in there with that long
With
face.
that long look like I'm back, y'all.
Like you didn't enjoy yourself?
Yeah. You missed out. They put some new rules in. You got to get caught up. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 12.
Yeah.
For the word of Yahweh is quick,
What is Elisha?
quick
Uh-huh.
and powerful, and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow,
Uh-huh.
and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart.
See, that sword don't deal nothing with the flesh.
Right.
It deals with the inner man, not the outer man. Go ahead.
Neither is there any creature that is not manifested in his sight,
Uh-huh.
but all things are naked and open unto the eyes of him with whom we have to do. Seeing then that we have a great high priest,
What we got, Elisha?
a great high priest,
Uh-huh.
that is passed into the heavens, Yahweh Shah, the son of Yahweh. Let us hold fast our profession.
See, and once you mention, I don't care what the argument is about these camps, mention who's the high priest and what order are we in. Watch the conversation. You know how people be there in the record section, It's going to stop like that, and it's going to get silent. Because as long as we eliminate you from understanding that, and the attack on Paul is because Paul is the only apostle that goes into that order with the whole instruction manual of what the order of Melchizedek is. I'm talking about in New Testament time. From Adam up into us coming out of Egypt was Melchizedek. So it's been in the earth, but I'm talking about, then we went through the period of Aaron. But what I'm talking about is now is for the full explanation of what the high priesthood of Melchizedek is. Paul is the author of that. And when they try to say Paul don't know what he's talking about, they are trying to remove that one and only high priest teaching that's in the Bible. But David said in Psalm 110, Paul backs him up in Hebrews 7. Ain't no other prophet backing that up but Paul. So if you get rid of Paul, you get rid of the understanding of the one and only high priest.
Yeah.
Y'all understand what we're saying? That's their whole mission. So that's why once they remove the high priest, guess what they put in second place? They got some Negro call himself the third in command. He's a high priest. Bumpy Neck Jermaine Grant was a triple high priest, wasn't he? The boy that did that 12 chart is a triple high priest. But guess what happened when Christ was walking the earth? The only people that were doing that same thing was Pharisees and Sadducees and the Herodians were doing the same exact thing. We just watching modern day Pharisees in our lifetime that mentions their own high priest. They don't want Christ to be the high priest. And what makes them a child twofold more hell than them is that they have nobody to sacrifice for their sins. You don't believe in Christ, you still in trouble. You can fool yourself all you want. That's like you trying to get by laws. You finna rob a bank and you got a youngster in there 15. We're going to give you the gun. They can't give you no time.
Like hell they can't.
Oh, but wait a minute. Somebody got killed in there. Now you certified as a what?
Adult.
Now your life gone while he out on the streets and you 15 years old finna go in there as an adult with hungry men that ain't seen a woman in years. Fist big as a basketball.
Tender love.
Y'all see? But this was happening when you listen to somebody tell you you can't get in trouble for doing wrong. Y'all ever seen that boy Jacob put up that physical therapist? That black dude with them red eyes and that orange jumpsuit and them buckshot naps on his head. Boy, look here.
And he sounded like Force MDs.
Boy.
Love so tender.
See, now, we were just talking about that earlier. See, Zeb can't do no song like that. See, because he has the deep voice. See, that just didn't even sound right. His voice got to be high. He got to be a alto or falsetto or something like that.
I wanted to make sure you heard.
Look, we had to have our Darrell up in here to go up to them ranges. Zeb raised like he was singing them high notes in the basement. The reasons that we're here. No, that ain't gonna get us. I'm just mad at what you said. Let's get it, y'all. But look, he got us early on. Let's get it, y'all.
Boy, y'all got issues, bro.
Now look, when Zeb's song come on, all of us gonna be trying to get deep voices hang with that one song we like. Oh, praises to the most. Oh, praise that. Oh, praise. No, you ain't got it, bro. Let it go. Go ahead, y'all. Yo, see, that's what a feast is. Like, don't you laugh around the table and have a good time with family members? Then you holler, pass them biscuits and potatoes. Boy, that sure was a good time.
Yeah.
And if you bring up the dead, it's about good times with them. Mm-hmm. It ain't nothing you bring up bad. Everybody stop eating. Man, you had to bring that up. Right. You done spoiled everybody's meal. So y'all, we have a good time at this feast day because it's a feast. But when it get down to business, what ingredient are y'all using in the food y'all use?
That's right.
Come on now.
That come the bottom line, no matter how we enjoying the feast.
Yeah.
What's in them cups y'all drinking from?
That's right.
Let's get some more, y'all. Let's finish this out.
Verse 15.
Yeah.
For we have not an high priest which cannot be touched with the feeling of our infirmity, but was in all points tempted like as we were, yet without sin.
Read that last part. Yet
without sin.
How you gonna call somebody else high priest and they full of sin? They can't even forgive their own, and you calling them a high priest. You don't believe in the Messiah. That's your Messiah.
Yeah.
Because you're saying he's the high priest.
Verily, you have your reward.
You got your reward.
No, he's just a priest that's high.
That's the bottom line, boy. That's what's going on. That boy, you like to say triply high. So we hope that answered that question. The second one, come boldly to the throne. That's what we were trying to get to, and that's what that means.
We haven't read that.
Fully persuaded in your mind. Go ahead,
let's hit that in verse 16.
Yeah.
Let us therefore come boldly unto the throne of grace.
To the throne of what?
Grace and mercy. That we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need.
So, y'all, why are we arguing like this at a feast day or different things when we have to come boldly to the throne of Christ? How you going to argue each other out of that possibility? And how you going to be right unless it's grace?
And then the thing is coming boldly to the throne of the Most High, meaning that you're coming through Christ.
Yeah.
Because Christ is the door to the Most High.
That's right.
So there's no more going to an earthly or a carnal high priest, earthly high priest, like Aaron, who had to go into the holies of holies and sacrifice for his own sins.
That's right. First.
Then for the sins of the people. You read that in Numbers 25, Numbers 28.
Yes, sir.
Leviticus 4. And all those strips about dealing with the priests and the order of sacrifice.
Yeah.
But what he's saying is, if we put on Hamashiach, if we live and walk in Christ, then we've sacrificed the flesh.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And we're walking in the spirit.
That's right.
So now we can boldly approach the throne of the Most High, because now we've put on Hamashiach, we put on his son, who is the exact representation and ambassador of the Most High.
So we're approaching in the spirit,
we can approach
flesh.
him in the spirit and not the flesh.
Yeah.
Because now we're living in his son's image.
Right.
So now we can approach his throne, because now we've obtained mercy and grace through him with his blood upon us.
That's right.
So now we're able to approach, because in the times of Aaron, the high priest, man couldn't go into the
Couldn't
holies
go back
of
there.
holies. Only he could.
Moses couldn't even go back there.
Because he's the mediator at that time between man and the Most High. Well, Christ came in the flesh, and he took on that sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice.
That's right.
So now we go through Christ, who's his son. Now we can approach boldly to the throne.
That's right.
Because now we have the son who dwells in us, and we in him.
That's why when he was crucified, that veil, it was a big curtain that would block the high priest from everybody seeing what we was doing back there. When Christ was crucified, that ripped in half.
And you can see back there.
And everybody could see back there. Because that was not the power anymore.
Right.
The power was the one sitting up on the cross that we had to look to like we did in the wilderness. Because we're in the wilderness of the world now.
That's right.
See, it ain't hard. They just want their own king.
Right.
Like Samuel said, they ain't at you, Samuel, they at me. They want another king. They don't want me to be their king. Thank you, Imam. They don't want me to be their king anymore.
That's right.
They want a new king.
We want a new king.
Because, like referring back to Colossians in chapter 2, what we read in verse 9, that he's completed and he represents the Godhead.
That's right.
And so if we have him, if we walk in him, then that's what we represent. And so therefore we're allowed to approach him to the throne.
Now listen to this. These idiots will say hippie on a stick and then go back to being a non-messianic. So what stick they on?
Tie stick?
Yeah. Some they own, but see, that's what we're talking about, y'all. So what you do is you remove your only point of salvation to a man.
Right.
And notice almost all of them that do these things and teach this, watch what their title is. They're always in debates. Chief such and such. High priest, such and such. Debating about the Apostle Paul. See, this is what we're talking about. All Pharisee work. You've removed Christ, but you're still saying the words Messiah to fool the public. But you don't have them on. You have this individual clothes on. That's your Christ. Because he told us many gonna come in that name saying they're Christ. They don't have to just say I'm Christ. Their actions will let you know. Oh, they trying to mimic Christ. They got people chasing and falling down and worshiping them.
Yes.
They don't have to just say it. Its actions speak louder than words, don't it?
Right. Yes,
like that Negro running around talking about he's the kingdom of Yahweh. You seen that? Y'all seen that egghead dude now?
That nigga look gay. Man.
Yeah, boy, and he done married Lisa Ray again. She got a problem with marrying, trying to get her a king. She done married him now. Said the entertainer was talking about peace up to you, King Yahweh. D.L. Hughley, peace up to King Yahweh. Marla Gibbs.
Yeah, this nigga, man.
You had more power with George than this clown.
Walking behind him and around him, man. And man, just to see the comments, people be, boy.
I'm talking about people look at.
Just gullible to
fall for anything. We'll fall for anything.
Just gullible, man.
He ain't even new though. I done found videos of him 11 years ago.
What was he doing then?
Same thing he doing now.
But it's a chick that know him. He from some part of Philly. She buck blasted him out. She say that's so-and-so. She called him by his government name.
Yeah.
She say I used to sell.
Tyrone.
Yeah. She like I used to sell incense or something for him in North Philly. This nigga out of North Philly. His real name is so-and-so Jones or something. Right. And she like, man, she bugging up. So now people going at her because she exposing his truth.
Yeah.
But now people are going after her. Why you hating on him? We need beautiful men. Like that's what that nigga is. Beautiful. Gay.
Oh,
yeah.
Give us a king spirit.
Yeah, his face looks plastic too.
He looks soft. Thump that nigga here run.
Yeah. I'm talking about, if you seen him without that bonnet, it just looked like a question mark the way he got that look on the back of his
thump on the
head.
knuckles, thump it right on the corner of that forehead.
Yeah, pow! Yeah.
Right, you can take off.
I was so good, I used to draw blood.
Boy, did you, boy?
I'll shoot you, nigga.
Yeah, he do. That's why we saying his real name Tyrone. Ruthless do it too. He look just like him, and he's doing the same thing. Just got followed. How do you just? But see, this is when the love of money overpower you. You get to choose who you want God to be, because I don't have no money problems. See, probably sitting in here, if right now all our phones start hitting like Amber Alert. All of you now have 20 million in each of your accounts. All of you. You got 20 million, I got 20 million. 80% of our problems go away at that point. But if they say, no, salvation's here, it's 21 million though. You only got 20. You can't buy salvation. All you're going to do is relieve yourself of earthly troubles. No more red letters. If you wise with that money. From the gas company. We're going to cut it off tomorrow. You don't get no more of them. That car no 2 months and 28 days behind. We coming to get it. We sending the mule thieves. No more of that worry with that type of money.
That's why it says it's a defense,
right?
And it answers all things.
All things. But when
earthly things.
But when it comes down to doctor, if you can give me another heart transplant, he tell you, brother, this way beyond what you can pay me. If you gave me everybody else's 20 million, I can't keep your heart beating. Mm-hmm. You need to go to a higher power, and that's what the doctor also does. He'll tell you, it's out of my what? You got to go higher now. Yeah. You got to seek some power way beyond me, because ain't nothing I can stop to close that aorta up, and it's one of the main valves. It's spewing blood fast as we put it in. It's kicking it out. Now, I know Betsy Ross can sew, but she can't do nothing with this. You finna die.
And I don't even think that white woman
You don't think she sold? She was just acting like she was sewing.
I bet you was a mammy that sold.
Sure, probably was.
Took the picture. And look what I did.
Yeah. Go ahead, y'all. Where we
Even
at?
so, a pair of socks.
Okay, so brother had the other question. Brother just left. He wanted to know about Enoch. He said some people also at that feast, they didn't believe in the books of Enoch. They said we should get rid of them. I said, did they tell you why? They said no. Well, most Sadducees won't read any books dealing with angels.
They don't believe in angels. They don't believe in anything.
And that's what Paul told us. He identified them. He said the Pharisees will try to believe the law, but they have their own priests. The Sadducees don't believe in any angels or anything supernatural.
They don't believe in the resurrection either.
No resurrection either.
Get that either.
Oh man, you waiting on some man to come out of the sky. Boy, when you living your best life now, you better get on it. But then obey the rules of the ruler of this nation. And you talking about you can live your best life being a servant to this nation. You can call yourself a king. What they call you?
Nigga.
Yeah.
Way my back been hurting these
Boy,
last
look
2
here.
weeks. This can't be my best life.
Yes, ma'am.
You just answered a question that, well, I knew it, but you just answered it even more. They used to tell me all the time, because when I ran across this,
You going, Mike?
No.
Okay. Go ahead, Imam.
I ran across Apocrypha in my early 20s,
Mm-hmm.
and I took it to the pastor at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I told him, they told me to burn that book.
What they
They
tell
told you
you?
to burn it?
Told me to burn it.
Uh-huh.
Why are you in, and the reason why I ran into it, I was in one of the Christian bookstores, and they had it on sale. It was only $5.
Yeah, they used to be real cheap.
And I got it, and I took it to the pastors, and they told, and the ministers, and they said burn it.
Was this when you was in Judaism?
No, this.
But they didn't tell you why to burn it.
Yeah, well, see,
They can't teach out that book.
yeah, see,
With that
ain't no
501c3.
ain't no bylaws. to
They
that.
can't even teach out of that book.
Ain't no bylaws to that one.
Well, what happens is it opened up different doors.
Right.
Once again,
Of
it's the
understanding.
priests. Enoch in chapter 46 through 48 says Christ is the Messiah, and he's coming back. So he's prophesying the second coming of Christ. So eventually, we don't need that book. It's just like preachers that say, "Don't read Revelations."
Mm-hmm.
It scares the people. Well, Revelation starts out, "He that readeth, blessed
Blessed.
is he
Blessed.
that readeth." So is your preacher getting you out of a blessing?
Right.
And all that blessed, but you have to. It say, "And he that understands."
It say, blessed is he that readeth
And understand.
understandeth.
So they tell you, no, that's scared of people. You ought to be scared of the second coming.
Yeah, because that's going to bring some understanding
Yeah.
on where you need to get your life to.
Yeah.
And prepare for salvation.
Yes, sir.
That's why Ecclesiastes say it's better to go into the house of mourning than into the house of laughter.
Yeah.
Because when you go to a funeral, you start to meditate upon how you living your life.
Right.
Am I getting myself right?
Right.
Am I prepared for this day?
Right.
Whereas in the house of laughter, you ain't thinking nothing about
About
death
that.
or getting your life on point.
And
you
look-
know what I'm saying? Or prepared for the end time. That's
Look.
beyond that. You know, you into mirth and joy and feasting and having fun and all that. You don't want to hear nothing about death.
That's right. And see, and that's why, but it always seems people pay more attention at a funeral. Why? Why does it take death for you to try to understand life? It's always at a funeral, people like, man, yeah. And then you get crazy and start thinking, I wonder what it'd be like at my funeral. I wonder how many people will be there.
2.
Look, they sing it at my funeral. They sing it at my funeral. But what's the common denominator why you thinking all of that? I'm what? Dead. They can have a marching band coming in there, Elisha. Throwing confetti.
The second line.
Everybody saying he looked good, but he what?
Dead. That nigga look dead to me.
So, so what I ended up doing, even though they were saying burn it, I put it on my shelf.
Well, look, we finna get into it now, and you're gonna see why not to burn it, and why they told you to burn it. So we're gonna get right into, because that was the question, the righteous Enoch. it's going to be some things said about Enoch that's in the Bible that can't be disputed. See, that's the problem. You get rid of the book of Enoch, you still got to get rid of him out of the book of the Bible. Or you saying it's a different guy. And if you saying it's different, then you got to explain why the book of Enoch, he's breaking laws that tells me I can't read it.
They must be talking about Enoch, the son of Cain.
That's what they got to be saying, but they ain't talking about that, Elijah. It destroys Sadducee doctrine and Pharisee doctrine by mentioning the Messiah.
I know.
46 through 48 chapters of Enoch. You will see, he said, who is this? It's the Son of God. He lays it on the line, y'all. So let's get right into it. Enoch, Genesis 5 and 5:19. And this is the lineage of Adam. And we're going to read down to verse 22, just 5:19 through 23. I'm sorry, no, we're going to go over to 24. 5:19 through 24. Now, when you start at 5 and 1, let's do 5 and 1 first, Elijah.
Okay.
Who got it? Zaya, 5 and 1.
Zeb ain't wearing none today.
That's because he keeps saying Elijah. So I feel like
Look, you know that ain't your name.
You know.
Right.
He calling your name, he ain't calling my name.
My name, right, yeah.
Boy, that's some stuff you just play with your brothers and stuff in the
Yeah.
comments. Man, she calling your name.
She calling your name.
You know who she mean, though.
Yeah. I can't take out the trash at night and I'm still wearing a pamper. She don't mean me.
better figure out a way.
And by the way, Brother Dan, they used to call it the book of knowledge.
Well, see, they'll call it a bunch of things to confuse you because it's opening up your eyes to still look toward the Messiah. Nobody else. If we block this off, you can't see the Messiah. Well, he's in the volume of the book. There's no way to not see him. You're going to spend all your time trying to dance around and not find him, and he show up again. You're like, there he is again. Man, damn. I thought that was Hezekiah. No, that wasn't Hezekiah. That's Messiah. He won't fit that verse. Let's get it, y'all. Genesis 5, 1 through 3 first, and then we're going to skip down because this is going to be something very important in these verses.
Genesis chapter 5, verse 1.
Hold on, here a few pages.
Genesis chapter 5, verse 1. This is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that Yahweh created man, in the likeness of Yahweh made he him. Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam in the day when they were created.
Now, just real quick, why somebody that just hit Genesis 1:26, real quick, somebody.
Genesis 1:26.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Okay.
And Yahweh said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle,
right,
and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So Yahweh created man in his own image.
What did he do?
Created man in his own image. In the image of Yahweh created he him. Male and female created he them.
So we got Genesis chapter 5, and it says this is the generation of Adam. So the question will remain, is that a different person than Genesis 1:26?
No.
It can't be, because chapter 5 is telling you it's the same people. I created a male and female. These are the generations of Adam. If you can't put 126 in this generation, you're going to make up a generation for them. And they won't be listed. Everybody that existed on planet Earth and where they come from is listed in these generations of the Bible. Ain't nobody outside this generation, y'all. It says the generations of Adam. Now, unless you got somebody else that's in the likeness of God, that's in the mirror image of Adam, then we need them verses. Let's pick it up in what, verse 19, I say?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Genesis chapter 5, verse 19. And Jared lived after he begot Enoch 800 years, and begot sons and daughters.
Right.
And all the days of Jared were 962 years. And he died.
Right.
And Enoch lived 65 years and begot Methuselah.
So Enoch buried Methuselah. He was 65 years old when Methuselah was born, the oldest man that ever lived. Go ahead.
And Enoch walked with Yahweh after he begot Methuselah 300 years and begot sons and daughters.
So Enoch got children and he walked with God after Methuselah, after his firstborn son. Then the Most High called him. Go ahead.
Verse 23.
Yeah.
And all the days of Enoch were 365 years.
Yeah.
And Enoch walked with Yahweh, and he was not, for Yahweh took him.
So now this the problem that they'll say. See, we don't believe the book of Enoch because it said Enoch died in Genesis. Did this say Enoch died or did it say he got took? See, Enoch is going to be the only one that ever died, that ever was called up. Even Elisha, that was called up, Elijah, was not transformed like Enoch was.
Was not translated.
Translated, I'm sorry, like Enoch was. He's set apart from everybody else on planet Earth. So people want to get rid of that thought process out of men. So they teach against the book, especially the Sadducees. Don't you read that book. So what we're asking is how we rate or how we were taught in the gospel of Christ. Whatever book come up, because we don't have all those books. There's a book of Edo. There's a book of Nathan the prophet that the Bible mentions. It says Jasher. We got Jasher. But if we found those, what's the measuring stick to verify if it's legal? What?
The law.
That's the only measuring stick you got, y'all. If Enoch, if whatever the person told you not to read it, he has to show you what right here. See, this Enoch is saying sacrifice and you can eat a hog sandwich with a turtle back.
Turtle back.
Well, I ain't seen nothing in there, but my high priest
said don't read it. Yeah. So y'all, we have to get off of somebody saying why you can't do it, and the Bible saying you can, and it's mentioning an individual of such high importance. Why? The secret is why they don't want us to know it.
Right.
Only darkness holds secrets. The secrets of Enoch is exposed to us. So they're not secret anymore.
Nope.
He brought them back. He said, this is what I went and got when I went up to secret. Here y'all go. Spread it to my children.
And it says he came back and taught Methuselah
look
and all
here.
his children. And then was taken back up.
Let's hit just Jude, the book right before Revelation. Then we're gonna get into the righteous Enoch. Jude is just one chapter, 14
Zeb.
verse. Zeb, you know what I'm talking about. Well, you know they say when you hang out so long, you start to look alike.
That's a big misconception.
It is. Well, because you shorter than Zed.
Yeah, just because we both bald head don't mean
Yeah, it don't mean nothing. You got to be the same height when you're saying like it. Zeb said you so short you have to stand on the ladder to comb your hair. That, y'all don't look alike.
It must have been used on.
I heard the boy on Saturday Night Live say that. Yeah, go ahead.
a ladder to comb your hair. And I ain't got no hair to comb.
Let's get it, y'all.
It's a waste of a ladder.
Where you going, Daddy?
We're going right quick. Jude, just 14 chapter. Y'all, we're going to read these. We're going to close on out.
14th
Jude 14th chapter.
Y'all, 4th verse. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah. That was on that live.
Yeah, he getting long in the tooth.
Jude
And windy, like according to Nerd.
Jude verse 14.
Yeah.
And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam.
What was he?
The seventh from Adam.
Now, if we go back to Genesis 5 and 19, we can count back. You know what the problem going to be? You're going to get this too. You're going to get 8. You know why you're going to get 8? You're going to get Abel. So he's technically the 8. So this where the doctrine will come in. See, Cain was the devil's son because that said 7. He was the 7th from Adam. Well, Abel was the 8. So who was really the son? And they start off with Abel. It don't mention Cain in this line. See, that's how quick it could go to another doctrine.
Right.
But what it's talking about is the righteous Abel was replaced.
Right. With
Seth. And then the count starts.
Yes. Seth was the replacement of.
After 100 and how many, 30 years license?
Yeah.
Let's get some more. That's it? That
And
one
Enoch
verse?
also, the seventh from Adam,
Uh-huh.
prophesied of these, saying, Behold, the Most High cometh with 10,000 of his saints.
See, now, if we get Enoch chapter 46 through 48, it starts off, the Lord is coming with 10,000 of his saints. Jude is saying Enoch prophesied that. That's in the book of Enoch.
Yes.
Why would they tell us not to read
Because
Because they don't want you to believe in the Messiah.
That's right.
And the second coming is talked about before the flood. Anybody got Enoch, or just hit 48 and 1 real quick? Anybody got Enoch? And then we're going to move on, y'all, because these some one-liners we're going to close on out. Zeb, you got it?
Yeah.
Chapter Enoch, chapter 48, verse 1.
Is that where it say 10,000, let's say, or it's 46 or 48, one of them?
Okay, 46, I don't see it in 46.
46 and 15? Where your Enoch at? Let me see. Who got Enoch up here? Who got Enoch? She'll say right there, Lord coming with 10,000 of his saints. What is it?
What verse is that?
Yeah, we got Google.
Words written in the book of Enoch where he said he's gonna come with 10,000 of the saints.
Enoch, Lord, coming with 10,000. 10,000 angels. That's what say 1,000 angels, wherever. Okay. Jude. Okay. No, I ain't want Jude. I ain't what I want. I want Enoch. I want Enoch saying it. It's right there, y'all. Between 46. Y'all scouring good. (46 through 48). Okay, here you go.
46.
No, it's chapter 1. Yeah, 1. Then it gets, but 46 through 48 is breaking it down. Hold on, what's in chapter 1? Maybe it's just chapter 1. Hold on. What's saying to that? Okay, 1 and 9.
Yep, that's it. And behold, he cometh with 10,000 of his holy ones.
What is that said?
Enoch chapter 1, verse 9.
Yeah.
To execute judgment upon all, and to destroy all the ungodly, and to convict all flesh.
So that's what Enoch said in those chapters. But when you get to chapter 46 through 48, that's what I want y'all to read. It goes into detail of the second coming.
Yeah.
Who got 48? Let me see that, Zed.
Right. What is it?
See. Okay, feel we're right. Okay, here it is. Zed,
I
read.
have laid it for you.
Yeah, I want 1 through 48. This chapter 48. What it say, Zed, of Enoch?
1 through what?
1 through that highlight. You got it.
Right. Enoch chapter 48, verse 1. And in that place I saw the foundations of righteousness, which was inexhaustible. And around it were many fountains of wisdom. And all the thirsty drank of them. And were filled with wisdom. And their dwellings were with the righteous and holy elect. And at that hour, that Son of Man was named in the presence of the Most High, in the presence of the Lord of spirits.
Y'all see that? He was named. Go ahead.
And his name before the head of days.
Before the head of days or the ancient of days. Go ahead.
Yeah, before the sun and the signs were created. Before the stars and the heavens were made.
So he linking up with 1 Corinthians 15. He's linking up when he was the first creation of all creation in Hebrews, what Paul was talking about. Go ahead. Colossians, yes sir, go ahead.
His name was named before the Lord of spirits. He shall be a staff to the righteous, whereon to stay themselves and not fall. and he shall be the light of the Gentiles.
What shall he be?
The light of the Gentiles.
What's the difference in Enoch and Isaiah saying it? Ain't it the same thing in Isaiah 11 chapter? Go ahead. What else it say? Isaiah.
And the hope of those who are troubled of heart. All who dwell on the earth shall fall down and worship before him.
Y'all see that? That's why they don't want you to read Enoch. Y'all understand it? Ain't that the same thing Revelation saying? 22 say the river's coming out. He said gonna feed you with the waters of life. That's it. Yeah, you can hold that, but y'all read all of that. And see, this is Enoch writing about the Messiah. They can't stand it because it's on the other side of the flood. Now I got to deal with the volume of the book. Oh, I know how to get out of it. Just say don't read Enoch. And you won't ask why.
We don't read no way.
Let's run these last few, y'all. We're gonna call it Sirach in the Apocrypha. Give me 44 and 16, and then 49 and 14. And we're gonna see what Sirach gonna say, because those teach that Enoch died. Man, he just lived 365 years and they buried him. Where is his sepulcher unto this day? And if you will, if you got to give me that Clement 5 and 2. That book of Clement. Yeah, maybe in them lost books. Clement, I think I got it.
Yeah, it's in the
I got it. Yeah, you got it right there. Book of Clement, 5 and 2.
What we going first, Dan?
We're going first to Sirach 44:16. And then we're going to Sirach 49:14.
44:16.
Yes, sir. And we're going to 49:14. Start at verse 10 on this Sirach 44. Who got it?
Zeb got it.
Go ahead, Zed. Their seed standeth fast. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Chapter 44.
Yeah. Well, you're going to be coughing. You better quit while you're ahead. Go ahead.
We're going to be able to make it.
Choking and coughing.
Go ahead.
Enoch pleased the Most High.
No, start at 10.
Verse 10?
Yeah.
All right. But these were merciful men whose righteousness had not been forgotten. With their seed shall continually remain a good inheritance, and their children are within the covenant. Their seed standeth fast, and their children for their sakes. Their seed shall remain forever, and their glory shall not be blotted out. Their bodies are buried in peace, but their name liveth forevermore. The people will tell of their wisdom, and the congregation will show forth their praise.
See, now that's called famous men. If y'all start in this Sirach 44 verse 1, it's just talking about David and Saul, all the righteous men. But when it gets down to Enoch, it's a whole different story. Go ahead, Elisha.
Enoch pleased the Most High.
What did he do?
Pleased the Most High, and was translated.
What was he?
Translated. Being an example of repentance to all generations.
See, it say Noah was found perfect, and then they get their reward. But when you talk about translated, it's 1 Corinthians 15:51. In a twinkling of an eye.
Changed.
We're going to get that same change Enoch got. You will switch over into immortality and won't even know it that quick. You'll just feel immortality because sin will be gone. That knee will stop hurting. That elbow won't be itching. Immediately. You go into your immortal body, yourself restored as a whole. That's translated. Enoch was put into the kingdom body to be live like an angel, because we'll be trained to live like angels. He was turned into angel. Now hit that 49 and 49 and what we say 14.
14.
Yeah, start about let's see where you at. Okay, 49 and 40. Yeah, start about right there last week, because we got to read these last two. We want to close on out.
I'll start at 13.
Okay.
Where you start at?
13, 49 and 13 of Sirach. Ecclesiasticus or Sirach in the Apocrypha.
You there? Mike, you there? All right. Verse 13.
Yeah.
And among the elect was Neemias, whose renown is great,
Uh-huh.
who raised up for us the walls that were fallen,
Uh-huh.
and set up the gates and the bars, and raised up our ruins again.
Uh-huh.
But upon the earth,
But upon what?
but upon the earth
Uh-huh.
was no man created like Enoch,
Uh-huh.
for he was taken from the earth.
See, and then it'll talk about Joseph. Everybody in the part, there was neither a man born like Joseph. So it go into it, but it say, never was a man on this earth taken like Enoch was taken. Let's hit this last one. And the reason he was taken, because he has to deal with the Antichrist. Give me Hebrews 11:5, then we'll hit Clement 5:2, and we'll close out. What you saying, Zed?
I was trying to wait if that was gonna be the last one, but then you said
No, I got on the list what you got. You told us you had to leave.
Hebrews what?
Yeah. We're going to Hebrews 11:5, and then we're going to go to the book of Clement in the Lost Book. Later, Elisha. I mean, Zed. See, Sister Naomi. Zed, I'll send that what you need. Okay, all right.
Hebrews 11, verse 5.
Yes, sir.
By faith, Enoch was translated.
What was Enoch?
Translated.
Don't it say the same thing in this Apocrypha?
Yeah.
Why would we not read the Apocrypha about Enoch? What does it say, Elijah? That's it?
That he should not see death,
Uh-huh.
and was not found, because Yahweh had translated him.
Y'all see this now? It say he should not see death, and that's in the Bible. Now, they say Enoch died. What the Bible just say?
He see not death.
He did what?
See not death.
See, and like he's saying in Isaiah 4th chapter, Isaiah 1 Corinthians 15th chapter, it say, if we are alive and remain, we shall be changed in a twinkling of an eye. If you make it through tribulation, and the Lord say you made it, instantly you're going to be in a form of an angel. You're going to look just like yourself. But this skin is going to return to supernatural. Same skin, but it's just going to return to non-corruption.
It's going to glow.
It's going to glow. Non-corruptible. But you're going to look just like you do. If just say your brother died when he was 5, and he 3 years older than you, and you live to 65, your brother gonna be that, you're gonna see that 5-year-old individual. But you'll be older than he is, but he's still gonna be your big brother. Like Christ said, I'm the offspring and the root of David. Y'all understand?
Yeah, I'm
so,
the beginning and the
end. I mean, but in that time, because there's no time, that's just your big brother right there. He just 5 years old. You just outlived him on earth.
That's all.
Oh, let me read that all the way out.
You gonna read that on out, Lice? Okay, go ahead.
That verse out.
That verse out? Okay.
Yeah. I'll start it again. By faith, Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because Yahweh had translated him. For before his translation, he had this testimony,
what?
That he pleased Yahweh.
Didn't we just see that in Genesis 5:19?
Yeah.
He pleased Yahweh.
Let me hit 6:2.
Go ahead, bro.
But without faith, it is impossible to please him.
Y'all see that? And faith is Messiah. How you gonna get rid of how to please the Lord? Right. That's faith. And Enoch talked about faith. Didn't we read that?
That's what he
Go
said.
ahead.
He talked about it. For he that cometh to Yahweh must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him.
Y'all see
That's
that?
what coming to the throne
That's
with
right.
boldness, to the throne of mercy with boldness is.
Yes, sir.
You must first come with belief that he is.
That's right.
And that he's a rewarder of those that follow him.
We read in the Lost Book, the book of Clement, 5:2. What it say, bro? Some of y'all may not have this Lost Book, but it's in the Lost Book as well. In the book of Clement, chapter 5, verse 2.
It reads, let us look up to those who have the most perfectly ministered to his excellent glory.
Yeah.
Let us take Enoch for our example.
Who we taking for our example?
Enoch. Who being found righteous in obedience was translated.
What was he again?
He was translated.
The only time we done read in 3 different books that the word translated for this one individual, wasn't it?
Yep.
Go ahead.
And his death was not known. And then it goes on to 3, Noah Noah, being proved to be faithful, did by his ministry preach regeneration to the world.
So you can hold that because that lines up with Sirach. But when you get into the book of Nicodemus, it then, or it's either Nicodemus or the other guy, I forget his name, but they tell you that Enoch and Elijah are coming back to face the Antichrist.
Micah.
No, not in Micah. I'm talking about in these lost books right here.
Okay.
It's either is it in Nicodemus?
I think it's Nicodemus. That sounds more familiar than Nicodemus.
It said Enoch. I got it, but it said Enoch is coming back to face the Antichrist. But y'all, is that the last one? Y'all homework is read Isaiah 58. Because what that's going to do, that's going to make sure that you understand what you're supposed to be doing on feast days. Clement, okay. What was that, Clement 5?
Yep, 5.
Yeah, 5 and 2.
Yeah, I wanted to look for where. I believe I'm going to look at where that book at. Hold on. So that okay. Nicodemus, okay, such as you know.
In Nicodemus.
Is it
While
Nicodemus?
the holy Enoch and Elijah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, where that's it? Nicodemus?
That's Nicodemus chapter 20.
Nicodemus chapter 20. And what verse? Read that, Elijah. Go ahead and read that.
Okay.
See, people question what the two witnesses going to be because of the amount of configuration. Moses went up there, but Moses was took too, but Moses said he had to die. And they had to block his grave site. What that say right there real quick? Read that.
Talking about how they met Elijah and Enoch in heaven.
Chapter 3, verse 3.
No, I'm saying they should face the Antichrist. And they will come back to face the Antichrist. It's in Nicodemus.
Yeah, here it says, then the Lord, holding Adam by the hand, delivered him to Michael the archangel, and he led them into paradise filled with mercy and glory. And two very ancient men met them and were asked by the saints, who are ye, who have not yet been with us in hell, and have had our bodies placed in paradise? One of them answering said, I am Enoch, who was translated by the word of Yahweh, and this man who is with me is Elijah the Tishbite, who was translated in a fiery chariot. Here we have hitherto been and have not tasted death, but are now about to return at the coming of Antichrist, being armed with divine signs and miracles to engage with him in battle, and to be slain by him at Jerusalem, and to be taken up alive again into the clouds after 3 days and a half. And while the holy Enoch and Elias were relating this, behold, there came another man in a miserable figure, carrying the sign of the cross upon his shoulders. And when all the saints saw him, they said to him, who art thou? For thy countenance is like a thief's. And why dost thou carry a cross upon thy shoulders? Which he answered and said, ye say right, for I was a thief, who committed all sorts of wickedness upon the earth. And the Jews crucified me with Yahushua. And I observed the surprising things which happened.
So you can hold that light, but all we want to do when you get into the book of Nicodemus, all they do is go into. That's one saying paradise. So they just go into details because that book right there is going into the resurrection. People were resurrected and they talk, and then they say this in the Bible that many graves bust open and saints came out of the ground. This going into that in detail. It's going into detail. So when they tell you not to read a book, you can't go off of what they're saying. Now, what we read out of all them books, did Enoch transgress or say anything different?
No.
Did any of them books say anything different about it?
No.
So tell us why we can't read it according to law, statutes, and judgments. If you don't have it, just talk about, well, they don't know what they're talking about in Enoch. I heard some monk wrote that. I don't care what you heard.
Right.
This book tells us to read it if it matches up with the scripture. And it matches up, don't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Enoch ain't said nothing about thou ought to take a bunch of crystals, did he?
No.
Did he say thou ought to go back into Egypt?
No. He kept the laws and the prophecies.
Did he say look for another Messiah?
No.
Some Negro eating chicken, look out for him.
No. With bumpy razors.
Yeah.
With razor bumps on the
Yeah.
No, he didn't say that.
Boy, it'd be tough in the wintertime. Everybody got on hoodies in a chicken joint. They trying to go in there and see if they got bumpy down in their neck. That's the one that got chicken. No. Neck checking, boy. Look here. We hope that answered y'all questions and answered today on those topics.
Good class. He had a few more, but I guess most I will get back to him next Shabbat.
Yeah, we'll get them back, y'all.
Can you say Amen Ra?
Oh, Amen Ra. Look.
Amen, I'm sorry.
Amen, when you look it up in the Hebrew, it just means we agree.
Right.
That's all amen. It ain't no short for Amen Ra. There's different instructions. There's instructions for Amen Ra. Read Amen Ra's instruction and then read amen and what it means.
And also read amen in the book of Revelation.
That's right.
It says
That's right.
amen is one of his names.
But look here. You're saying we're in agree to the one. Ain't nothing there about we ain't going back down into Egypt just saying, hey, if you say hello, then that's a problem.
Sister asked in the chat earlier, if a woman is on her cycle, should she attend Passover?
Look.
Or no feast?
Look, this the deal. If she don't attend, she get to make a Passover.
Right.
But what state is she going to be in 30 days?
The same.
The same state. So the question is, do she get to attend? She must attend. So the problem is, this feast, she got to make sure she don't have them crampings like I'm going to get you sucker.
Right.
You remember that one scene where she said, girl, me too, I'm cramped up, feel like, and then she was sounding like the devil. She can't be at the Passover because she'll show everyone that that's happening to her. So it changes our mind that she's on the washcloth. I had to say it like that. I said that was what?
Passover at home.
And all she can do, boy, look, settle that right there.
Right.
It don't stop you from doing the Passover. She can do it at home if it's too bad. Now, if the next 30 days is lighter, she could come amongst the fellowship. This is what we're talking about, cleanliness and all. You can't just say she can't go to an event. If you run her like that, then wherever she sits on, if she sit on the toilet, you only got one. Man, that means you sit on a bucket till she come home. If she washing dishes, you can't eat out of none of them dishes. You can't have it like you want it. See, we got to be careful with men because they say you can't go, you on the rag. I mean on the wash, on the. You already said.
You can't clean it up now.
Yeah, see if Zeb was still here, I wouldn't have said that. Yeah, Elisha, man. Yeah.
I am. Zeb is here.
So y'all, that's the deal though. Every man has to examine himself because look at this. If a man there and he's got the tail end of trichomonas, which is a yeast infection, but only he got one drip yellow stain in his shorts, he's got to be clear with himself because it ain't itching and it ain't scratching. He just got a slow leak.
Right.
So if he's at the Passover, who gonna check? We're checking for slow leakers too.
No.
Get in that line.
No, but you have to be already convinced in your own conscience.
That's what we talking about, Liza. Go ahead.
Had one also. She said, can a person who do the Passover, basically, can a person do it who is sick, shut in, no help, but they want to do the Passover and they basically have nothing?
All they need is bread and wine.
That's what I said.
Get you some unleavened flour with no yeast in it, a little cup of wine. That's the main thing. Christ is your lamb.
That's your lamb. You have to get it in your conscience. The order of Melchizedek is a conscience law.
Yeah.
It ain't dwelling upon the flesh so much.
Right.
It's more about getting your conscience and your spirit and soul right.
Right.
In line with Messiah.
That's right. So, y'all, anybody need to deal Passover business with me? Just holler at me after. Cutoff date was yesterday, y'all, for St. Louis. And out of town was the 29th. We got everything locked and loaded, y'all. We got to have our numbers, y'all. We going to the store today, tomorrow. So we got to be prepared. We can't have a bunch of people showing up. If your name on this list and you have not paid, you're the only individuals who will pay at the door. That's it. Ain't nobody just going to show up. If your name, we don't see your name on the list, you're getting turned around. Because we gave ample time for this. The only people is if we fall into Numbers 9, they've been on a long journey or something that they just couldn't get to us. But that's going to be examined.
Yeah.
You know, we can't hear you was at the laundromat and missed it. You know, I had to put an extra quart in there. I missed all of that. We don't care nothing about that.
But if you gonna try to play some kind of game,
Yeah.
then your conscience is already messed up.
That's right.
And you're already coming into this feast day unworthy.
Yeah.
So whatever you do on that day, you're doing it unworthily to your own destruction.
Damnation. Yes, sir.
All right, family. We're going to get this closing prayer. And it is with the Most High's permission. And it's in the name of his only begotten and beloved Son, our Lord and Savior, Yahushua HaMashiach.
Yes.
But we know him as Jesus the Christ.
Yes, sir.
Long live the King.
Long live the King.
Reading in the book of Psalms.
Read.
In the 26th chapter, it reads, Judge me, O Yahweh,
Yes, sir.
for I have walked in mine integrity.
Yes, sir.
I have trusted also in the Most High. Therefore, I shall not slide. Examine me, O Master, and prove me.
Yes, sir.
Try my reins and my heart. For thy loving kindness is before mine eyes, and I have walked in thy truth.
Yes.
I have not sat with vain persons,
Yes, sir.
neither will I go in with dissemblers. I have hated the congregation of evildoers,
Yes, sir.
and will not sit with the wicked. I will wash mine hands in innocency. So will I compass thine altar, O Yahweh,
Yes, sir.
that I may publish with the voice of thanksgiving, and tell of all thy wondrous works. Master, I have loved the habitation of thy house, and the place where thine honor dwelleth. Gather not my soul with sinners, nor my life with bloody men, in whose hands is mischief, and their right hand is full of pride.
Yes, sir.
But as for me, I will walk in mine integrity. Redeem me,
Yes.
and be merciful unto me.
Yes, sir.
My foot standeth in an even place. In the congregations will I bless the Most High. Hallelujah!
Y'all got a sugar too. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Sick and Shut In. Also want to send shouts out to Sister Cassandra Sellers. I hope you're feeling well, sis. She had a little bit of work she had to do at the hospital, but I'm hoping they released her. But sister, continually praying for you. And well, that's all I got to say. Who else was on the list?
Always Hannah and Uriah.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Continue to pray for our sister Damara's
Yes.
family.
Yes, sir.
Household. Any other brethren and sisterin, imams or coaches that's out there that needs help and prayers, we lift it all up.
Yes, sir. You off there?
No, I'm finna
Keep
count.
praying for Jeremiah as
Yes,
his date
Yes, sir.
approaches for his surgery.
Yeah.
Things of that nature. So, open heart.
Yes, sir. He feeling good though. Hello, Margaret. What's going on? Mister, how you doing?